Hey guys, welcome in to cancelthisshow.com. The show before the show, the pre-party. We got to come up with a name for it if we can. Lizzie's in here early today too. We just welcomed you in. Something we're trying to do too, just like let everybody know that we're here, we're coming up. Most everybody that joins us, although we're continuing to try to build, like, subscribe, share the show. I'm just going over some show content today. Also, just a little time before the show, a little one-on-one time, the little pillow talk with Cancel This. It's Friday, April 28th, just a little bit. We appreciate everybody jumping in. Lizzie, we have to come up with something. By the way, I don't want to hex him. I don't want to jinx him, although I've always said I don't believe in jinxes or hexes. I only believe in people who believe in jinxes or hexes. But Pro Joe, you've jumped in, dude. You've been great. You've been
Joe
great so
is
far,
great.
buddy.
You are great, Joe.
Thank you. I'm doing my best.
Yeah, we're doing our best here today. I can't wait to talk to Lily Nova today. I've never even heard of a space extraterrestrial photographer.
I've never heard of that either.
An ET channeler. I didn't even know it existed.
I didn't either. So I'm excited to hear about this.
I know. Hi, Lily. How are you? We've got Lily. We got Lizzie and Lily.
That's going to be hard to say. Today I can be Elizabeth if you want.
No. That's all right. We don't need an Elizabeth. That's all right. Trish, good morning to you. We appreciate it. So we got all that coming up here. I was watching the NFL draft last night, Lizzie, and I kept waiting for the first transgender player to get drafted.
It's coming.
No.
Could you imagine that? That would be crazy.
No, I know. It's crazy. There's all kinds of stuff. We got some news headlines today, but it's going to be our free-for-all show. Hi, Mary. Yeah, here's what we do. We started doing this a few days ago. We tried, if we're able to get our stuff together in the mornings and get everything set, we just try to have a couple minutes of early time with you guys, the show before the show. Just seeing what we got going on here. I'm just doing some prep for the show as we jump in, talk with you guys. You have questions. If we get people here early enough, you'll get to know us. Clearly, you'll never get to know Eric any better, but that's all right.
He might surprise us once. That might happen.
But we appreciate you guys jumping in. Like, subscribe, share the show. As always, we appreciate you guys helping us out, doing what you're doing. Let's see. I actually had my son today, my senior son. We have these moments as parents. He actually texted me because he knew he wasn't going into school this morning because he was not feeling so great. He's got a prom tonight.
Oh, prom night. Yeah, this is prom weekend.
Try prom month.
Yes.
So that son goes to a private school. He dates a girl that goes to another school.
So he's got two proms?
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
She has her prom tonight. He has their prom next week.
Wow.
And everything's just so damn expensive with it. I mean, I had to finally bite the bullet. It's like it was going to be near $600 in rentals for freaking tux in back-to-back weeks.
That's not. So did you just buy a tux?
Yeah.
Then?
Yeah.
You needed to do that, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But then it's like, but when you buy it, but then you've got to buy everything that also comes with the rentals, shoes, bow tie, down to the freaking cufflinks. Anyway, so he's got his prom. But anyway, he texted me. He's like, Dad, I know Graham needs to be at school this morning by 7:30. He's like, I can take him.
Oh, that was sweet.
Because he didn't know if he was going to be able to go to school and do it. So I was like, I'm going to get my son to school because I have to be here early. But it worked out. So
it's nice when kids are nice to each other.
Yes. And they've battled. I mean, they get along, but the older son's football team lost to younger son, and younger son played varsity.
I remember. Yep. Yeah.
So younger son was starting. His team beat older son's team twice.
Yes.
Badly.
Yeah, that causes some issues, doesn't it? There's a little sibling rivalry there.
Older son's like, I hate him in his school for that.
Yes.
He never said him, but he's like, I hate that school. because two very bad memories came there. But
It's crazy how that happens. There's two rival schools in St. Charles County, and two of my kids went to one and two of my kids went to another. And and so I found out that, could you imagine, their prom is at the exact same place right across the hall from each other. So
wait, is that what happened?
well, no,
That
it's
sounds
happening
like- that sounds like-
tonight or tomorrow.
Why?
Yeah.
That sounds like a problem getting ready to
They're
happen.
going to have, I mean, these are two Christian schools, but they don't always act Christian when they're with each other. So I
No.
think they need a couple police officers, to be honest.
Hey, Jerry, good morning this morning. Hi, Todd. Trisha, thank you. Karen, good morning. Jerry, we've been trying to get on a little earlier. We appreciate Projo making that happen. We said hi to Mary already. We appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe, share the show. We got a badass show coming up today. Oh, yeah, Karen says that's how it is with my two grandsons with sports. But as a dad, I just want my boys to love each other and support each other, like the Mannings. Is that possible?
Yes, it'll happen. It'll happen.
They seem like they support, even though there's been some video in the past where Eli was giving dirty looks when Peyton won his second Super Bowl. And I was like, oh, look at Eli. There's a sibling rivalry that's going on over there. Okay, we'll get ready to rock and roll here. That's a little bit of the show before the show. We'll continue to try to do it. If you guys want to talk about anything, have questions. During the show, it's tough to get to all of your responses, but we love it. So thanks again for jumping in on the show before the show this morning. I'll let everybody know how that prom goes, because not only are you buying a prom, you buy the tux and everything with it. They have an after party. Then there's tickets for the prom. I'm still trying to figure out, why am I paying $150 for now it's a private school, but $150 for the prom itself, for tickets, for 2 tickets.
I think that's the cost nowadays.
But for what? What's the cost? For what?
I think they get some
Punch?
appetizers and punch. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You have hundreds of kids paying $150. I'm like, damn.
Well, you can't forget the streamers and all the decorations.
Streamers.
And you know that's expensive from
I
Dollar
don't need
General.
streamers. I know we always say everything's more expensive, and I'm going to sound like I tease Tabitha when she sounds like a grandma. Everything has just changed. And
Grandma came in.
no.
Here, Grandma's here now. Hi, Grandma.
I want to bake my hams.
I want one of her hams.
Paul says that's the going rate, Vic. I'm like, okay. Yeah, Todd says free Bud Light. Hey, we got a news story coming up on Bud Light as part of our headlines this morning. All right, we're welcoming everybody in. Let's go ahead. We'll get the Jay says schools charge for everything anymore. No doubt about that. Okay. All right, we're gonna time to get more serious. All right. We're good, Projo, whenever you want to start. Hey guys, welcome in to the official cancelthisshow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Tabitha Hassel, Eric Johnson on his way in, Lizzie Sparks back in studio, and Projo running the boards. Projo, you having fun yet?
It's been a blast. You guys are great. It's been fun. I've been getting here early every day, which is not typically me if I don't like what I'm doing. So
go on.
That tells you something.
Continue on.
Yes.
Continue.
Well, you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
You can continue on.
Oh,
go on.
You want more?
Yeah,
and
some more
Vic's such a
compliments.
great
Come on.
guy.
He's the best.
That's my Eric for you. Like whenever I give Eric a compliment, he's like, go on. Okay, go on. Yeah, you can continue. We're back. It is April 28th. That is a Friday. Appreciate you jumping in. It is our free-for-all Paranormal Friday. You know what we do. Coming up, we talk with Lily Nova. Now, I guarantee I'm going to go out on a limb and say that she gave her name that. If she was born with the name Lily Nova and she's a space extraterrestrial photographer and an ET channeler, and she's got the last name of Nova, this was all meant to be.
That would be good to know.
She's coming up at 8:30. It's part of that free-for-all Paranormal Friday. You won't want to miss that. Tabitha is going to tell us why there are people in our universe who believe there is a second sun. It plays in perfect. I was like, what? Where'd you get this?
It's a big...
What?
No,
Okay.
Projo already has me silent.
Come on, Projo.
He's been talking to Eric after the show.
We can't give Projo compliments.
I'm telling you, man, you jinxed it. You jinxed it earlier when you said
so
it.
Funny.
You even said that you were going to jinx.
He talked to Eric last night. Eric's like, shut her up.
So you were saying?
But you know, it's been a long time theory that there is a planet X, a planet called Nibiru. I know I'm probably not saying that right.
What?
Nibiru. You know, I'm not good at pronouncing things. And Nibiru. Some people say Nibiru, but the second sun, and we'll get into that later. But a lot of people do believe that the reason why we have chemtrails and the reason why they continue to keep our skies hazy and cloudy is so we don't see the second sun or the planet X, because everybody wants to know.
Well, don't give it all away yet. Don't give it away yet.
Just giving people something to hang out for.
Donna says, there are many suns. They're called stars.
Yes.
She's right.
Okay, there you go then. So we got Lily coming up at 8:30. We'll get into the sun talk as well. Can't wait to get that. Some of the news headlines we'll get to. Bud Light, just wait till you hear how far they continue to fall right now, but they're trying to make a comeback. Bud Light, we're waiting on your phone calls. We would love to advertise for you. We'll help you. We'll provide copy on how you can redo your image, at least in the cancelthisshow.com era. And also, we're going to get into new Gallup presidential polling. How low can Joe go? And how high can Trump rise? It continues that Gallup getting into there. Yes, and Fox was all about it this morning, Tabitha. As much as you hate them and other people may hate them.
Why are you watching them?
Because I watch every morning while I work out.
Why are you watching them, Vic?
I don't watch them after they did that to Tucker.
Because it is the best.
Boycott Fox.
Because
I don't have it on.
Because is whatever happened in the PM.
They cover the headlines.
The AM, and they're the headlines.
Not all of the headlines, but they do cover the headlines.
And they were just ripping the Democratic Party up and down today, up and down and all around. So anyway, we'll get into all that. But first, as we welcome you in, like, subscribe, share the show. Hey, if you haven't had a chance to check out some of our previous episodes, check them out. Like, subscribe. They're in there. That's our library. Get them back in circulation. A lot of great material in there as we hit, I think, day 108, 109. Did you see do you know what it is, Joe? Pro Joe?
I'm sorry.
Never mind. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I know you saw the graphic. I didn't get a chance to see the graphic yet. But anyway, send the stars if you want to do donations. We love those as well to help keep us going. Cancelthisshow.com. But please, another way to help us do what we're doing is check out our partners. Check out their prices. They're what they have. Let them know that you heard about them from cancelthisshow.com, and let them know that you appreciate them advertising with us to help make sure that we continue to do what we are doing.
Day 109.
All right. Damn, we're going. It just fast.
109 shows. And there was actually a few before we even started counting.
Okay, so let's go ahead. We'll go to our partners right now. We'll come back in 2 minutes and get rocking with this Friday, Paranormal Free for All Friday.
This is Dr. Mahesh Bhagway. I'm an orthopedic surgeon here in St. Louis for over the last 20 years. I went to Washington University. I got my medical degree at St. Louis University. From local high school athletes, college athletes, weekend warriors, injured workers, and even Cardinal baseball players, I've treated them all. Our practice strives to personalize care with every new patient being seen by me. To find me, contact my staff at drbagwe.com. That's DRBAGWE.com. Hopefully you don't need me, but if you do, you can find me now.
White Glove Exotic Services is St. Louis's first concierge vehicle service center. Alex David's team is passionate, certified technicians. They have industry-leading tools and equipment. They do it all. They pick up and deliver your car, hands-free. Plus, they have elite detailing service, customized PPF wraps and tinting, and inspection and titling assistance. White Glove also specializes in logistics and storing options, vehicle listings, and consignment. White Glove Exotic Services. Check them out at cancelthisshow.com.
Marco, wait. What? No response? Hi, I'm Curtis Barks with Complete Auto Body and Repair, offering full service and auto repair to St. Louis and St. Charles. We are looking for someone to say polo. That's right, we are hiring. We want you now. If you would like to work in a well-paying environment, then you owe it to yourself to stop by one of our 6 Complete Auto Body and Repair locations. Will you help me find that missing person? Please call me directly at 636-488-HIRE. That's right, 636-488-4473.
Dad, and service.
Oh yeah, and service.
He fixes cars.
Carroll House has the largest selection of solid wood with the hottest new styles. Real furniture that's built to last, like our solid bedrooms, living rooms, and dining from Kincaid. Our volume enables us to save you a lot of money, especially during Solid Wood's sale. Plus, get free financing, fast free delivery, and free in-home design. So for solid wood, sweet styles, and solid service since 1964, shop over 3 football fields of furniture at Carroll House. Because you like nice things.
Jonathan, what does make Rockwood so special?
Rockwood, we carbonize it higher than anybody else does. So we're cooking out everything that produces ash, smoke, anything like that. It gives you a lot more control over the temperature, a lot more control over the fire, and it's 100% Missouri product.
All right, where can people get it?
It's at 100-plus locations around St. Louis, any Deerberg, Straub's, meat markets, wine and cheese stores, hardware stores, you name it, we're around St. Louis. Just check the website.
And good charcoal should be able to break apart in your hands like
absolutely,
does,
yeah.
Right?
If you can't break it apart by hand, it's not charcoal yet. It's still wood. They didn't do the job, so make sure it can break apart by hand.
All right, get your Rockwood charcoal. Hey, welcome back to canceltheshow.com. By the way, we will make it available. For $1.99 a month, you can get all the conversations held behind the scenes before they're live.
Oh, my.
Yeah, that's probably worth some money.
For just $1.99 a month.
That's right.
It's our OnlyFans page with canceltheshow.com OnlyFans. Only conversations. We have to come up with a different name.
It would be pretty funny if somebody could subscribe to our private talk in between segments.
It's pretty funny.
Oh, my.
Hey, it's April 28th. What day again? 109?
Show 109.
Thank you for making it all possible. We are here, canceltheshow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Tabitha Hassel. Lizzie Sparks in the studio. Eric Johnson en route. We've got Projo. And Lily Nova going to be live in studio with us coming up at 8:30. Tabitha's going to get into why there are people who believe there is a second sun. Dun, dun, dun. Chemtrails, you name it. Is it a conspiracy theory? Is it truth? I don't know.
Is
we'll
it
get
really
into it.
the mothership?
Does it? Oh, my God. Yeah, baby. We'll get into it all. We kind of let loose on Fridays. During the week, we are serious. Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central Live. But you can catch us all the time on cancelthisshow.com. People telling us this morning they miss a day or they miss a show or part of a show, they're going back and listening. But always like and subscribe and share the shows if you like it. That's how we continue to grow as well. As always, provide information for us. If there's stories we're missing, cancel culture, education, anything, we do it here at cancelthisshow.com. Plus news headlines, politics, society. We throw business in there. And of course, cancel culture, education. All right, there's a black hole sun. Ha, ha,
I love that song.
Chris Cornell said so. I love that, Lisa. Thank you so much. All right, guys, a couple of headlines here real quick this morning. Gallup came out before we get in with Lily. She'll be coming in live in about 15 minutes or so. Gallup poll released. Gallup, it's pretty down the middle. Donald Trump continues to expand his lead. I mean, you're talking 51% to 20%. DeSantis is the second. Nobody else is there, which is why you're going to continue to see the left throw all kinds of crap against the wall, see what can stick, and try to go after him.
Trump is the man.
Well, he's got a rape case. I'm like, oh, give me a break.
He
So does
killed
Joe
it
Biden.
yesterday. Yeah, he does.
Joe Biden has a rape case. The difference is the mainstream media doesn't cover it.
When
Correct.
people try to smear you, they're going to make up all kinds of stuff because all you have to do is try to create some doubt. Well, maybe there's something there. I don't know if I like him. So now I have something that maybe I'm going to think I don't like. It's like, give me a break. Give me a break. So anyway, 51% to 20%.
Yeah.
Not even close. And Tabitha, Fox News was all about Donald Trump. So,
Well, they have to be. They don't have a choice. No, they don't have Tucker.
but they've been-
if they want any followers at all,
they've been about him for about 4 or 5 months.
they have.
They might have gotten
Yes,
some
they
good
have.
ratings.
You don't watch, I
yesterday
do.
If they played his rally.
And
His
then
rally was awesome.
The other part of the
Yes.
Gallup poll is Joe Biden continues to go lower. 37% approval. I mean, it's abysmal. Yet there are people. Actually, I still haven't heard anybody say he'll do a good job. It's just anybody but Trump. Anybody but Trump.
That's the talking
Anybody.
points. Always
ABT. Anybody but Trump. Anybody but Trump.
Donald Trump, he really does support the majority of conservatives. He really does. Even me, who I don't even consider myself a Republican, because I think the Republicans are far too rhino for me. Trump, I absolutely believe, supports the majority of conservatives. I really do.
So
he has it in the bag.
That's the Gallup.
Too bad they're going to cheat.
Other news headline this morning. We knew Bud Light was going to fall, but guess what? It hasn't stopped, and it hasn't come and gone. Their stock has now fallen 12% since this all. That is massive. So what is Anheuser-Busch doing? Bud Light, it's smart. They're throwing money now. They're like, okay, they're throwing money at this. They say they're coming back with new ads. They're looking to advertise. They hired 2 heavyweights.
I'm a heavyweight.
To try. They should have. You should.
I should
call them up and let them know.
Where's the application process?
Find some. Can you find somebody?
Here's what you do. I'm going to tell you exactly what Bud Light.
You got us one sponsor. Can you get us another?
Yeah, I'll call Bud Light right now. Here's what you do.
Welcome to CancelTheShow.com, brought to you by Bud Light Studios.
Here's what you do.
We don't want them.
Here's what you do.
Shut up, Tabitha.
This is what Bud Light does. Are you ready?
You're not getting paid this month, then.
Don't worry about her. She's fine. Here's what you do. You get in effigy. You get that marketing director, whatever her name was. What was her name? I can't remember.
I never
in effigy.
Knew.
In effigy.
I hate fratty boys.
Yeah.
That's her name.
I hate fratty boys. And Real Men of Genius comes on immediately.
Love it.
A bunch of frat dudes from Sigma Phi Epsilon and Sigma Omega or whatever.
Alpha Tau Omega, baby.
Alpha Tau Omega.
My ATO brother.
That's right. Yeah. You get those guys out in the field, and this is all paid for by Bud Light, and you put a bunch of explosives in this thing, and you all light this chick up, and then on camera, and you run it in a multi-million-dollar advertising campaign for 1 month. And then you sponsor every GI Bill or everything military for the next 12 months. And then at the bottom of it, in a chyron or a lower third, it says, "We are so sorry."
I don't know that people would forgive them.
I'm doing my best over here. That's what you have to do.
Say they're sorry.
I am sorry.
And they haven't said they were sorry.
I am sorry. And then the CEO, and then the CEO, and the CEO and the vice president of Anheuser-Busch, they need to make their offices look like frat bedrooms.
That would be hysterical.
And they got to live in them for the next year. That's it.
You can go there shooting a rifle and eating your ham.
Yes. Or they just get dilapidated RVs.
Yes.
They get a dilapidated RV and then just ride around the country partying with all the hot chicks all over the beach.
I don't know, Eric. I think there's a lot of people who will never forgive.
That's all they can do. They are screwed, man.
And Bendy says they are sorry. That big. You know what? Here's the thing. I don't think it matters if they're sorry. But I think you're right, Bendy. But it doesn't matter. They got to get back to business.
No. Yeah. That's like, you know what? It's like cheating on your girlfriend. She finds you cheating on you, and then you go, baby, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's what it means. It doesn't mean anything.
Give me another chance.
It means nothing.
Yeah, but then you got to work double, I guess.
Yes, exactly. You need to do exactly what I just said.
You got to throw money at the problem.
You got to go 1,000,000% over what you need to do to win back this audience.
And say sorry a lot.
Yes. You got to give free beer for 12 months.
I don't think it's
free beer.
But you're always negative.
You're always negative. She is always negative.
I am not being negative.
Yes, thank you.
Joe's already got it.
Can we hear that a few more times?
I'm not being negative. I'm being realistic. And it's true, we as conservatives can be very stubborn. And once someone does something in which we feel that they have turned against us, you sit really
trying to help.
me.
Tabitha, we're just trying to help. We're just trying to help. We're trying to help.
You can punch me anytime you want. I get it.
That would be really good. Just go over there and smack him a good one.
I've been.
I may.
Okay, do it.
I've had several. I've been hit several times by ladies. I get it. It's fine.
My goodness. But don't you think that there are a lot of conservatives out there, and Lizzie, you probably know this more than the rhinos in the room, is that
damn, Vic.
Don't you think that we as conservatives sometimes, once a company has gone woke, there's no turning back. They can apologize.
No, that's like
all they want. There's no turning back.
I gotta think about
I love you, Tabitha. Tabitha, but that's like, where's the mercy, grace, forgiveness?
I think conservatives are tired of that.
Yes.
They're tired
We
of
have to
being
stop
forgiving and turning the other cheek. Tab's right about that. You'd have about half that would do it, because I actually like that idea, Eric.
That's all you can do.
I think you
That's
have
why
to
we
do
say you're a
something
marketing
like that.
genius.
Well,
you are.
But Tabitha's right. Half the people will not come back anyway.
You are speaking to a bunch of hillbilly Hoosiers from wherever we're from. I'm one of them. And basically, you have to basically say, we are funding. Here's what Bud Light is going to do. We are funding Kid Rock's next tour, and we are going to give him VIP access.
He's already signed with Miller.
Well, fine. Sign with Miller. It's like, we will, what we were going to pay you for your tour, we will dedicate to Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Now we're talking.
So if it was a $40 million nut that we were going to have to chew on, it's all going to Make-A-Wish under you from Bud Light, and then we will allow you to blow up Bud Light cans on stage as long as I'm telling you what these guys got to do. I'm telling you
to do that.
You know what I mean? They need to go fund every missing man formation that flies over a stadium. This missing man formation brought to you by Bud Light.
Show up at all the high school games.
Yes.
Tabitha, what's wrong with acknowledging? Now, they're never going to acknowledge like you want them to. You want them to like get on their knees and go, I am so sorry. And you know what? Maybe that's what
groveling.
They should do.
She's right. She's
Everything
right.
we're talking about is hypothetical. They've not apologized.
No, they
have not once yet said it was a mistake. They've never said,
but in this day and age,
we shouldn't have done that.
But in this day,
they've done nothing.
Look, by removing the person,
yes,
they do.
It's not enough.
In 2023, people.
No, Tab's right.
The pride issue, because I say it's the worst. It's the worst issue of mankind,
for sure.
Is pride.
And look,
it's not enough.
Let's be honest.
But if they start throwing more money at the conservative side and they don't throw it at the Democratic side, then you know what they're doing.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest.
This gets back to Eric's girlfriend analogy. If you cheat on a girl, and what is she going to do? Continue to throw it in your face?
Yeah, she's never going to. She'll never
over and over again.
She might want to forgive you.
Honey, I screwed up.
That is actually what happened. So yeah.
No, she might want to forgive you.
Actually, what happened?
Here it is.
Honey, I screwed up. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. She might want to forgive you. She'll never trust you again. She'll never trust you. She wants to forgive. She loves you.
Good point.
She loves you. She loves what we had, but I can't forgive my lying eyes
that's
what
why
I saw.
Bud Light has to be on Bud Light has the rest of Bud Light's life. They have to do what's right.
Yeah. They got to hang her. They got to hang her from a helicopter over the top of an alligator pool or something.
Can I clarify one thing? To me, it's not about the can or the dozen cans, whatever they sent her or him or whatever. What it is to me, it's the fact that it's another company going woke who feels like they have to cater to the 1% on the far fringe left. That's what I'm sick of. You know what? Know your base. I'm tired of companies not knowing their base.
Here's what I would like you to. You're a researcher from hell. You are very good. Let's research this ESG crap and find out what it actually means to a CEO and all the way down management. How did that affect this? Point. I don't know.
It's almost like a social credit score when you think about it.
Okay.
Because if
I don't know what that means.
Doesn't show their wokeness, then they're not. They feel like they're not accepted into society.
It is happening, and that's why Bud Light did it. And the reason we brought it up once again for listeners who may be jumping in, when you are a company as massive as Budweiser and you've just lost 12%, 12%,
that's crazy.
You don't
insane.
2% losses is bad.
12 freaking percent in under a month.
Yeah.
Because you went woke, and then crap. Then the response was terrible.
Yeah.
Now they're trying to get back to it. So 2 brand new top-notch execs on the campaign, and they are publicly saying, we are spending money now. We are coming out full-fledged to try to earn trust back again.
Yeah.
That's a lot of roses. That's a lot of roses.
And let's be honest.
It's a lot of chocolates.
I don't believe that the Anheuser-Busch people are woke at all. These guys do not. The
people who work there, most of them
these guys do not wake up. These guys wake up, they go, do we have our tickets to Daytona because we're sponsoring the Daytona 500? They do not wake up and going, how many rainbows can we put on cans? That's not what they're thinking.
No.
I do think that this has a lot to do with this bizarro ESG thing that none of us know about. And we don't even know what you get out of what do you get out of
that was my thing. Why do you do it? What is the prize? Is it money? I'm assuming it is.
It's
a big
pressure.
bundle of money.
It's the pressure, just like Vic said. It's the pressure and it's the intimidation by Democrats, basically saying, if you don't go woke, if you don't show us that you support the far, far, far 1% on the fringe left, then we'll cancel you.
A CEO told us last week in our chat line that BlackRock is one of the companies that does this. They have an ESI or whatever it is, ESG division that's now going to companies and saying, okay.
And that's exactly
money talks.
Well, remember Coca-Cola when they had their big training class. These big companies are all getting a training class in how to be more woke. And you know what? It's the dumbest thing ever because it does not represent the majority of Americans. The majority of Americans, believe it or not, are not woke. You cannot convince me of that.
No, they're not.
And Bud Light jumped in last night. The biggest thing on television, one of the highest rated TV shows of the month, it's the NFL Draft. Guess who the NFL Draft was sponsored by last night? Bud Light's first issue of their whole new public relations campaign came out last night. Bud Light was plastered everywhere. It was held in Kansas City. And by the way, outstanding job, NFL in Kansas City was freaking amazing. The draft, I mean, I don't even, there had to be 40, 50,000 people out.
100.
Is that what they guesstimated?
Well, I could not figure out where that was. That at Crown Center? Where were they holding that at?
I thought it was in the
was it at Power Light?
The district.
No, I don't think it was. It was down by Crown Center.
But Chiefs Nation showed up massively last night. Outstanding job. I mean, red everywhere as if it was a home game.
Yeah.
But Bud Light front and center the entire night. The NFL Draft brought to you by Bud Light for the first time. So they're trying to jump back into that, as Eric said, that male audience, testosterone, fratty boys. We want you back.
Too late. Too late. Too late.
Yeah, God forbid a bunch of testosterone filled dudes like to drink your beer. That's your audience. It would be like showing up to a PETA event in a mink coat. It's stupid. It's like, it doesn't make any sense. Why are you destroying your brand like that?
Men are embarrassed to buy Bud Light right now. I know.
I'm telling
crazy,
you, you're right. There's a
men
bar.
are embarrassed to buy Bud Light.
There's a bar that's fed up with the people who are fed up. Did you see about that? Indiana?
No,
There's a bar in Indiana that's basically saying, we won't tolerate you not ordering Bud Light anymore. The bartenders are hearing, I'll have to get the article, but the bartenders are getting fed up with people going, what can I get you? Anything but Bud Light. So the owners are getting fed up with it and they're kicking people out now.
That's just ridiculous.
But here, if Bud Light is trying to come at, and Tabitha, you made the point, as much as you say you don't believe Bud Light trying to come back, you've also said all the employees that work for Anheuser-Busch who are struggling or might be struggling or losing jobs. That's, acknowledge it. Come on, Bud Light, Anheuser-Busch. We're waiting. Let's see. The NFL Draft. Yeah, that was a good start, but it's still not.
This could be the most amazingly awesome, kick-ass ad campaign Bud Light or Budweiser has ever done in the history of this product.
How are they
I'm telling you right now, they've done Real Men of Genius. They did Budweiser, the Frogs. They did the Clydesdales. They've done some of the most amazing ad spots ever created. And this next round of ads could be nuclear.
But Eric,
and I don't know how they're going to do it, but it could be good.
You're the media guy. Think about this. This is what I'm hearing from guys I know.
Yeah.
Most straight men do not want to be seen or thought of as being gay. And so what's happening now is they've emasculated men with their Bud Light cans. How do you make men feel like men again buying Bud Light?
You have to acknowledge. So in PR, there's this thing called crisis management. Right. You know what crisis management is?
Mm-hmm.
The Exxon Valdez blows up in the middle of the ocean and they have to go to work in the PR world and fix the PR. And usually what you do this is like PR 101 is you acknowledge first and foremost what you did. You acknowledge, you don't make any excuses, you take all responsibility. That's what Anheuser-Busch has got to do right now. Period. The discussion is over. You got to come out, and if you thought that apologizing 10 times was good, you need to apologize 100 times, tenfold what you think you have to do. Number two, you got to be real creative in your advertisements. And you got to acknowledge that people do not like this woke ESG garbage. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it needs to be a thing. And Tabitha, here's the other thing. It's going to be 24 months of this stuff, not 24 days. These people they're not coming back willingly. They will find something else. Yingling, whatever this new beer Yingling is, seems to be the new flavor of the month, if that makes any sense. I was at the Ameristar Casino last night, and people were buying this beer. I've never heard of it before. Tried it out. Pretty good.
Well, and this was the Yingling?
Yeah, the only problem I have with Yingling, or however you pronounce it, it sounds Chinese. So even if it is an American beer,
I think that
doesn't sound
stereotypical.
It doesn't sound American to me. So they might have their work cut out for them as well.
I don't think it is an American beer. It might be, I don't know.
But wait a second.
But it doesn't matter.
But who owns that beer?
InBev.
I don't know.
But InBev,
because I saw the Anheuser-Busch Eagle as the logo next to the beer.
I'm pretty sure that InBev does own Yingling, or it's one of their partners, because I think it was on that list I read that day.
So then that's associated with Anheuser-Busch.
There are more brands out there that are either partners with Anheuser-Busch or under the umbrella of their brand.
Jerry says it's from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, well then maybe it's not part of, but I think it's one of the partners.
You know what?
I think InBev is the big boys. It's like Corona. It's like
it is. There's so many.
It's not the mom and pop stuff. That's for sure.
I love it. All right. This is cancelthisshow.com. It is a free-for-all Paranormal Friday. And we are honored to have in studio today, because we don't always have these massive guests in studio. We have Lily Nova with us. First of all, Lily, is Nova really your last name?
It's the name the universe gave me.
I love it. This is the Paranormal Free-for-all Friday. And just to give you a little backdrop of Lily, for those who don't understand what we have. But Lily, she's kind of big time. She's a renowned UFO and space photographer, extraterrestrial contactee. She is a CE5 practitioner, and I can't wait to learn what that is, because I have no idea. I'm lost completely on that. And a cosmic channeler. Your stories and footage have been featured in mainstream media news. I mean, the LAD Bible, The Mirror. You were on Coast to Coast with George Noory. Eric was talking about that being a fascinating segment with our friend George. And we have a chance to talk to you today and welcome you in. Okay, Lily, first of all, welcome to cancelthisshow.com. Tell a little people about where you're from, what you have going on, how you got into this.
Yeah, so thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure actually being able to meet face to face and coming into the studio. So thank you for having me. So a little bit of background on me. I actually started off as a nutritionist.
Mm-hmm.
I taught nutrition and cooking classes for Mizzou Extension, actually. And I was very passionate about it, health and nutrition. I wanted to start and fuel health and mental health revolution. Very passionate. And then COVID happened.
Yes.
This is in St. Louis, Missouri. COVID happened, and I turned to the stars. During the middle of lockdown, there was not much going on. So I took my camera and started going out every single night to the stars. And then I began being visited by UFOs shortly after. So
Wow.
I began documenting them with my camera and investigating them, essentially, is how it started.
So that's how it started.
Yeah.
How often does this happen?
Well, now I have contact with them very frequently, at least weekly.
Wow.
But is it a situation? I'm trying to get the picture in my head. Something like this just happened to somebody actually who works in this building, similar to this, where they were driving, they saw a UFO come right over their car. And I'm like, and it's right here in the St. Louis area. I mean, this stuff happens more than people think. Most people just aren't looking up to see it. So I'm just trying to play this out. So were you out in a field? Were you at home? You're taking photos of the night sky. And then what is the first thing you saw? How did this all begin?
So it started off, actually my first encounter, and I had never seen a UFO before this that I remember. My first encounter was actually on my front porch in the suburbs of St. Peter's.
Yeah.
Just in the middle of a neighborhood. I'd stepped out. It was late at night. I stepped out to get some fresh air before bed. And suddenly I look up to the stars like I always do.
Mm-hmm.
And looking up, by the way, if you actually just spend some time looking up, you're going to see something.
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah. So I stepped outside, looked up. I see a hovering craft over around the neighborhood, but it just looked like a really big light.
Yes.
So it was moving in a cliche kind of hovering UFO manner. So I started recording it and started kind of freaking out. I ruled everything else out. It's not a plane. It's not a planet.
Right.
So I a light appeared at the end of my street, this really strange orange light. I looked over, and then whenever I looked back, a second craft had appeared, and it was a large diamond-shaped craft. I could see the lights going across it. I was bending my neck, looking up at it. It was only a few houses down. It moved up, down, side to side extremely quickly, and then started coming straight for me. And at that point, I kind of like freaked out a little bit. I took a few steps back and I started shaking. I was still recording. You can hear me like shaking, and it vanished right above my head. So that was my first encounter. It was a very close encounter. It was very intense, paradigm shifting. And then for a couple of weeks, it was quiet. I feel like they gave me some time to kind of integrate that and come to terms with what I had just experienced. And then as I went out shooting astrophotography by myself in the middle of cornfields in these rural areas, they started coming again. In my second encounter, I actually spent the night surrounded by these lights, filming them.
We're showing video. We're showing pictures. You sent us some fascinating pictures, but forgive our lack of knowledge of what everything is. And should we be showing these pictures yet, or did you want to go pick by pick, or did you even know what we were showing here?
Yeah, so I picked a few out. So this photo right here is a picture of a ship. This is after, so these UFOs are coming in left and right. I'm documenting them with my camera. And then as time passed, I realized that I could initiate contact with them, which is CE5. There's actually a term for it, human initiated contact. So
which NASA has told us not to do.
Yeah, I bet they have.
Wow. There was an article printed where it said, do not attempt to contact extraterrestrial life, that it could be dangerous for you.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry.
Well, it's transformed my life.
Yeah. You haven't been afraid of anything yet, have you?
I mean, at first it was kind of scary, and then you have to work through a lot of that programming because there's a lot of like War of the Worlds, like these horror movies that, and we're made to, fear this attack from these otherworldly beings. And what I discovered is, but also the curiosity in my heart, the calling in my heart was way beyond any fear. So,
but did you walk out the first night in St.
Peter's?
In St. Peter's, did you walk out in the back and go, oh, what a beautiful night? What's that little thing bouncing around in the sky? You weren't looking for him that night, correct?
Correct.
It was just like you just kept tracking it, and then finally came over and said, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, well, it happened very rapidly. Like as soon as I stepped outside, I looked up and made contact with this thing. And then a second one had appeared very closely, and it made it was very intentional. Like it knew that I was watching it and recording it, and it came straight for me and disappeared above my head.
So what are those pictures again? That you were starting to explain that. Joe, could you pop that same picture up?
So this is one of my favorite photos.
This right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is a picture of a craft that I caught after I learned that I could initiate contact with them.
Okay.
I began inviting them in to get footage of them. And it was like something we had worked out. Like it was working. So I started making contact each day. There's also a picture of me meditating. This is the zoomed in of the craft. But if you could find the one where I'm also meditating.
Yeah, we have like 8 or 9 pics. So we'll just pop up and we didn't
rock and roll.
We really did, because this is a new subject for us.
Yeah.
So we really didn't know what to pop up.
There it is. That's perfect. Okay.
So that's Lake 370, correct?
Yeah, Lakeside.
So that's a place for UFOs?
I mean, I was making contact up there like every day for a while.
Wow.
It's insane.
I love that place. I'm going there tonight.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Okay, so good job scrolling in on this thing. Is that it right there? That thing in the sky?
What? Oh, you got a
good
picture
job,
of it?
buddy.
Yeah.
So, wow.
So you can see me. I put the camera behind me. I went up and I started kind of meditating, inviting them in.
Yes.
And then I took a time lapse to where I was taking consecutive photos back to back to back because they're very fast.
Okay.
And I caught one in 3 photos. So there it is up there. And then that other picture you had just pulled up before was the zoomed in, kind of fixed up a little bit version of it. So, yeah.
So Lake 370 or Lakeside, whatever it's called, is a place. Were they there for you, or was it just that's one of their kind of truck stops along the universe?
I believe it was very intentional.
Okay.
For me.
Okay.
But anybody can do this too. I've taught, as I've shared my story, I've taught other people how to initiate contact with these beings.
Totally see it. I totally see it.
Did you know that there is a report we talked about before on the show? Astronomers in Ukraine have claimed that they have used a regular DSLR type camera that most people have or use. And they have taken numerous photographs of UFOs above Ukraine by changing the I don't know anything about cameras, refraction settings, whatever, some type of setting. And they said when they changed that, they said we would be surprised that there are UFOs all over the sky. We just don't see them because we're not looking at them the right way.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And another part of that is what I found is the camera. So our visible spectrum is very limited. We can only see like a tiny bit out of the whole light spectrum.
Okay.
So a lot of these UFOs, they hide basically in this other spectrum of light. So the camera can actually pick them up even if your eyes can't see it, which is just insane. So there's stuff around us like all the time.
Even detractors could agree with you on that.
Absolutely.
Because that's science.
Yeah, it's legit.
So this is COVID where you found this. Everywhere, we're all locked in. You see it. If that was moment number one, how many moments have you had where you just walk out and say, "Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?"
So after that first time, a couple weeks later, they started popping up left and right. And that's whenever I was like, okay, there's something going on here. And it seemed like they were jumping in front of my camera on purpose. So I basically just started talking to them. I'm like, I don't know if you guys can hear me, but do you want me to share this footage? Like, why are you just showing up all like left and right everywhere, bombarding me? And then I just started sharing it. And yeah, so now it's become sort of a relationship.
I don't think you're fearful. And I'm going to tell you guys something, and I'm not telling this definitely not for you to be fearful or for anyone else. I doubt anyone else has ever heard this video. I posted it to my personal Facebook page the other day, but we haven't talked about it yet on the show. It's Tucker Carlson who released a video. This was a long time ago. And in the Tucker Carlson video, he says that a man approached him that worked for the government, and something to do with Tucker Carlson's prior job working for being a writer. And he studied some type of brain concussions and different ways to recover from brain injuries. Well, somebody from the government, he claims, approached him, and they said that UFOs have been landing at military bases and that many of our military members have come in contact with UFOs. And some of them, being very curious, have approached the UFOs. And when they did, some of them were killed. Some of them had severe brain injuries. And it was interesting to hear Tucker Carlson saying this. I don't know if it's true, if it's not true, but a lot of people have no idea that Tucker even said this. It was a very interesting video. And he claims that there are, thousands of military members over many years who have been injured by walking too close and approaching UFOs. He doesn't know that it's with intent or just the magnetic field around. So I'm curious if you've heard about that or anything like that has occurred to you.
I just watched a clip of that Tucker Carlson last night, so I saw a bit of that. I could see how, definitely more members of the government know about this.
Yes, they do.
Letting on. Yeah. They've been knowing about this since the 40s, for sure, after the nuclear bomb.
By the way, we're talking with Lily Nova. If you're just joining us, she's a renowned UFO and space photographer. We'll show more pictures that you sent to us. And by the way, of the pictures that we do have, if there's something that you'd like us to, you can just say, hey, can you pop up such and such picture? And Pro Joe will go with you on that.
Yeah.
She is an ET contactee. She talked about being a CE5 practitioner and a cosmic channeler. Of course, she was on the show with our good friend George Noory from Coast to Coast as well. And I guarantee Tabitha knows more than any of us about what you're talking about, but we're all getting quite the education this morning. That's for sure. Do you have people who go, what the hell are you doing?
Definitely at first. But now I've actually, with sharing my story over the past year on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, I've been contacted by so many other experiencers.
Yes.
So many people are starting to have these experiences, and many more will start seeing these craft, and they want to know what the heck's going on. So, they come to me and they share their experience. I get to hear so many different people's stories. So now, we've developed a community I'm trying to make like a safe space where people can come and share this. So now I don't really have to deal with it that much. And I feel like
I love to hear that.
up. Yeah.
I've personally never seen anything, but I do look. I try
But you
to
don't
look at
know.
this guy. No, I'm not saying it doesn't exist. Trust me, I believe it does exist. I absolutely believe everything you're saying. And I believe there are so many people out there that have these experiences, but they're too intimidated to come forward because people will think they're crazy.
Not anymore. Not with the government coming out saying.
I agree. I think the government has actually already told us
but
that
there's
it's
still
happening.
people that would go, "Oh,
there are
trust
people."
me." I mean, it's
Here's
America,
and that's why you're so
It's
brave to come
2023.
forward and talk about it and create a group for people like you. I absolutely do believe it. I believe the astronomers in Ukraine. I think that people can see it if they know how to do what you've done.
So let's talk about this for a second.
And by the way, this is canceltheshow.com. On Fridays, we do our Paranormal Free-for-All Friday, and we have some fascinating guests.
So night number 1, that seems to be my most fascinating thing, the first contact. This object that comes at you, you said it was right over your head. I've always wondered, because I can't tell in these pictures, they look like they're the size of drones in some of the pictures. Some of them, they look like the size of a football field. How far from them were you, and how big was this thing? And was it lit up? Was it a typical flying saucer? What was it?
So this was like a diamond shape. It was kind of a weird geometric shape I'd
Okay.
never seen before, but diamond-like, and this was like a physical metal looking like dark gray, and it had a line of going across the diamond in the center, red and blue-green lights going across it. And I'd say it could be maybe the size of a car or two. It looked like kind of a small craft, and it was like basically like a few houses down or down the street, and then started moving up side to side and then came straight for me. And then at that point, I had my camera still rolling.
Yeah.
And I was going to, get up and catch it. Then I chickened out because I'm like, this thing's coming literally straight for me. So I took a step back under the porch, and then it disappeared within a second.
And then you said that you had some kind of a communication with it. That's what the paradoxical experience it was in your heart. How did it communicate with you? I mean, obviously a lot of people say it's telepathic, right? Was that kind of the experience that you had?
Yeah. So at first I didn't know if I was communicating with them or not. Whenever I started just talking out to them after they started popping up, then I just start talking to them. I'm like, I don't know if they can hear me, but
How'd they communicate back?
Telepathy.
Telepathy.
And I started, things just kind of started happening that were pointing me in this direction, that this is my path. But telepathy. And then it can also be like feelings, very strong feelings. So whenever, like that picture that we showed earlier where I was meditating and that craft came, what I would feel whenever I knew that they were there, sometimes your ears will ring because they're at a higher frequency.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So sometimes your ears will ring if you're making contact or if they're nearby. And then also I would suddenly feel this amazing feeling of love, like profound love. Yeah. So that's how I knew that they were.
So Tabitha, they're not nefarious.
I don't think they are. I've never thought it was nefarious.
You're very popular, at least for our live audience. And most people are, you always have a couple detractors. That's for sure.
No, how can you have a detractor?
Because
our government has told us.
Because we're human. There are human beings that are rah, 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 rah,
and whatever. People don't want to. I think the human mind can't wrap their brain around it.
Exactly.
Our government has said there is a good possibility there's a mothership right here in our galaxy.
Is there?
Yeah.
Well, can you ask the question?
That's why the probes are coming down. I think that the government is holding these hearings, these UAP hearings, to tell us that yes, this
it's great
exists.
That you think that. Ask her,
Lily. Yeah.
Do you feel like you are a medium of UFOs? So if I have a question, could I ask you to get an answer? Could you say, "Hey guys, is there a mothership up by Venus?" Could you have that level of conversation with them?
Yeah, at times I can. So I began practicing meditation, and this is what they instructed me to do to be able to communicate with them better. So as I began meditating, I began to get the ability to receive visions, telepathic images. So they'll send telepathic images to me with like a word. So yeah, I mean, if I meditate on it, sure.
Do you know what they look like physically?
Yeah, so there's actually quite a variety out there. There's the typical kind of like gray-like looking one.
Really? Okay.
You mean with the bigger head and skinny body?
Yeah, there are some of those, but I've mostly seen ones that actually look very human. The first one that I saw looked very human.
Wow.
But she had light blue skin and no hair. She was bald, but she was very beautiful with like a skin tight suit.
So it was like a female body, so you could tell it's a female.
Yeah, I mean, she looked just like if you like shaved my head and dyed my skin light blue, I would look like her.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you see that? Through a vision or like physically? Was it physical?
Yeah, so this was actually my first time initiating contact, where I went out and I'm like, okay, I'm going to invite them in, see what happens. At this point, I'd been going out with my camera and they would pop up randomly and I'm starting to investigate them.
Mhm.
So this is my first night where I'm like, okay, I'm going to initiate contact.
Yeah.
And I had somebody else with me there to witness this. So within 5 minutes of getting out of the car, this golden orb appears
Mhm.
and it starts moving around. And I was trying to like talk to it and ask it questions, like, who are you? What are
Yeah.
you doing? Why do you keep showing up? And then my friend suggested, who is skilled at experience with meditation, he suggested that we close our eyes to see if we can get anything that way. And I thought that sounded kind of weird, but I did it.
Okay.
And whenever I did, I received an image of this woman, the person who was manning this craft along with their crew
Wow.
members. And I know this sounds nuts.
Crew members.
Yes, there were crew members standing behind her. I know this sounds crazy, but it is so freaking exciting.
It is.
It's very
Now, someone on the text line said you have to watch out for the grays.
Yes.
Is that true? Are there dangerous ones too?
There have been, through sharing my story and communicating with people about this, there have been some negative experiences with them. I think they're more of, but I have also seen very positive ones that feel like love. So
Mhm.
I think there's even different types of grays. But yeah, so they're not all nefarious, but some of them I feel like have
A little more rambunctious.
Yeah.
Could we go through the rest of your pictures,
Yeah,
please?
sure.
And if you know exactly where they are, if you call for them, Projo will pop those up so you can explain those.
Well, maybe we could start off with either the Andromeda Galaxy or the Pleiades star cluster, just to give you guys an example.
Could you repeat that again? Well, those are terms I don't think I've ever heard. What did you just say?
Pleiades star.
He's got it, the Andromeda. So this is actually a photograph that I took of the Andromeda Galaxy. Just to show
With a
you-
camera?
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
How did you do that?
That looks AI generated.
It does. It's like Hubble telescope type stuff. That's great.
You can take great photos with cameras.
Yeah,
Who
I
knew?
mean, it took a lot of practice. You have to take a bunch of photos. So I just want to show people, I'm not just like a random person. I'm actually an astrophotographer, and
Right.
I know what's up in the sky and what it looks like. So whenever
Special lenses or no special lenses?
for that one I use a 300 millimeter lens.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
That's unbelievable that you
that's-
got that.
Okay, what going on with the other pictures?
So Andromeda is our closest neighbor. By the way.
Okay. So there are these beings living there.
Yeah.
That's
Really?
That's what I was going to ask.
Does every single cluster of stars have living organisms in them like these?
I'd say a lot of them.
A lot of
yeah,
them?
A lot.
Okay.
Yeah. There's so many.
Okay.
So this is the Pleiades star cluster. This is another photo I took with a 300 millimeter lens. This is a beautiful, gorgeous star cluster, also known as the Seven Sisters. And Subaru.
You can keep
named
that up,
their-
Joe.
Yeah, Subaru named that's what their whole thing is about. If you see a Subaru, you'll see like the 6, 7 sisters on the back of it.
Mhm.
So this is actually a star cluster where some of the beings who have some of these UFOs come from.
Okay.
This star cluster, and they actually look very human.
Yeah.
They look Nordic, really. They're blonde and they have really light.
So what's the name of this star cluster or this galaxy, I guess?
No, it's a star cluster, the Pleiades.
Okay.
So you can live on a star cluster or in that
it's-
area. Once again, you're having to dumb it down for me. and
Yeah,
others.
if you have a sock puppet and crayons, that would be really helpful. Except for Tabitha, she's very smart.
So basically, I came to discover that some of the beings visiting Earth come from this star
Interesting.
cluster. Yeah. And basically that star cluster are a bunch of suns like ours, so there's multiple solar systems around.
They have a cool sounding star cluster. We have the Milky Way named after a damn candy
Yeah,
bar.
I know.
Now, why
No,
do you think the government hides so much information from us?
this is fascinating.
Yeah. And whenever this first started happening to me, like a week later, it came out in the news that the COVID bill had a section on UFOs where the government was instructing that everybody, if you have any information on UFOs, give it to us.
I remember that. Yes.
Yeah. And I thought, okay, that's weird. So there's definitely something going on. I believe that they are hiding this from us because, well, I know a lot of them have known about it since the 40s.
Right.
They want to keep the technology hidden, I believe, is one of the biggest ones. we'll have free energy once we advance to that state. There will be no need for oil, for our currency, for like all of the systems need to change on Earth.
That's an interesting concept, isn't it?
Joe's got your next. Is this a video that you have for us too? Then
Yeah. So this was my second encounter. I spent the night in the middle of some cornfields. I was out shooting astrophotography. I spent the night surrounded by these ships. So just suddenly I looked up, there was a light over there going back and forth. I looked to my left, there's a light over there going back and forth. I look behind me, there's two lights behind me that weren't there.
She just gave me chills. I got chills. I'm like, what?
It was crazy.
Where was this, by the way?
At Bromelisk Astronomy Park near Bush Wildlife.
Bush Wildlife. Okay, out Wentzville.
A lot of people.
It's in the St. Louis area, just for people of St. Charles County,
and a lot of
for our
people,
listeners around the country and the world.
A lot of people see lights there. So many people have messaged me and called me.
That's right.
And said they were out by Bush.
Yep.
I live right by Bush Wildlife area.
She's right.
And they're always saying, one of our state reps even talked to me about it. And they said, you know what is the deal with all the lights in the Bush Wildlife area? People are seeing them. Yeah. They just don't know what they are.
Yeah. I noticed that too. There's definitely something fishy going on.
Is it nuclear warheads?
They are attracted
because there's nuclear warheads.
Nuclear waste.
There's like silos out there, I believe.
There are.
Yep, I believe that has to do with it. Definitely.
I am Starseed jumped on our chat line and said these beings love us and want the best for Earth.
I believe that.
You have contacts. Do you believe that?
Yeah, definitely. I do. They're basically like our older brothers and sisters.
Could they be?
They're like our family.
That's highly controversial to a lot of people.
I was like,
go ahead, Vic. He's very Catholic. No, I mean, people would say, so what you're saying.
No, I agree. I was laughing because I want my boys to love each other more.
Yeah.
That's how we started the show.
Could they
today.
be future humans? I've always wondered
past humans.
if they are humans that evolved and at one point they were here on Earth or somewhere else, but somehow we're all connected. We're all related. We're all part of the same family somewhere down the line.
Yeah, some of the beings that I have seen are versions of us from the future.
Wow.
That's what I have always believed.
What is the sunshine shot that you have right here? Is this video or
Oh, so this is an orb. This was during a CE5 contact, and you'll see so they can manifest in orbs too. There's about to be a close-up. But this is a strange geometric orb that appeared.
Okay.
We'll get another close-up. It zooms in. So they can appear as orbs too, and you can see them in the sunlight.
Right in the middle of the screen?
Nailed it.
Are there multiple or?
There's multiple, but that's the biggest one right there.
Wow.
And you were there shooting this?
Well, it's Photoshop. She didn't really shoot.
And think of the things we could see if we all looked up in the sky more.
I'm telling you guys right now.
They don't want us to.
Tabitha's right.
No, it's
She's right. There are
really is.
I see some of these things out by the Weldon Springs area. I do, Vic. Vic, I do.
I'm glad.
You look at them and you go, that has got to be Venus. And then it starts moving. You're like, what?
Many people
right?
have said
is that kind of it?
That happens, yeah.
I was like, that's got to be a planet. And then you're like, well, now it just shot over. What is it? It's got to be a plane. It's a plane. So people like me who are skeptical, we don't receive. I'm not skeptical. I'm inquisitive. We don't receive well, do we? We don't really have the ability to communicate.
Your mind's not open.
There you go. Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you got to have an open mind and just being curious and just ask. You can even look up and ask. If you're really there, can you show me something?
You're an expert photographer. Can you answer a question from a detractor? A detractor online says, yeah, that's refraction from the sunlight in the lens.
If you were to zoom in on it, it is an orb changing shape into geometric shapes. That's not like a reflection.
Do you have any buddies in computer sciences that can actually not just zoom in, but clarify and zoom in, kind of like the FBI technologies that they have? Do you have anybody in a studio that goes, yeah, give me your footage. Let's zoom into this 200 times.
Oh, I've been doing it all myself, but that would be cool to find some extra help.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt it would be. Talking with Lily Nova today, being educated and taught on a variety of subjects when it comes to UFOs. You're an expert photographer as well. Did you have another video, Pro Joe, that you had up that we didn't talk about?
Yeah.
Or is that all?
No,
the
I think that was all the videos.
No, our pictures.
There is a couple of pictures. There's one of a green screen.
No, go back to the if you go back to the black one, the light beam coming from a craft.
Yeah, that's a tease.
We didn't.
You talk about the light beams sometimes coming from these crafts.
Well, what I've talked about is our government has given us warnings
video,
about
Lily.
it.
Let us know when we get to the right
it's
one.
Here. Okay, so this.
Damn.
What I was just saying a minute ago, where I spent the night at the astronomy park, and there was one right in front of me. I was sitting there recording it, and you can actually see a beam of light coming from it.
What the hell is that?
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Well, how high would you say that was?
This was on the ground. This was in front of me. I was sitting in my car.
So they wanted to get out and can they open the doors to these things and get out of these crafts? How do they get out?
I hope not, because I live right by there.
I don't understand the mechanisms
Close
of these
Encounters
things.
of the Third Kind, like a ramp fell down.
Yeah.
You walk down
do
the
you
ramp.
think that you're Elliot sometimes? Like they're coming back to get you and bring you up to space?
What, E.T.?
E.T.?
No.
Have they ever made a... So George Noory, one of your... I'm sure... Are you friends with George? I mean, you talked to him a few times. He has a book where he was abducted, correct? Am I thinking of the right?
Correct.
That's right.
You are correct.
And is that the proper way to say it, abducted?
Well, I think that sounds kind of like negative.
Right.
A lot of the time, these beings may take us up there to kind of like to check on us.
Yes.
There's a lot of pollutants and toxins and stuff like that in our food, in our water, in our environment, in the chemtrails.
We got to get the hell out of this hellhole.
I've heard. Back in the day, when I went to school for hypnotherapy, way back when, we often talked with groups of people who've gone through these abduction experiences, and very much they have the same story. 99% of them were not fearful. There were a couple that were. There were certain things that were in common with all of them. All of them had some type of medical something done to them. And most of them, it wasn't terrifying or painful. It was more like they were being studied. You know,
they mean like probing because it was your, were you probed?
Yeah, if they stick anything into you, that's an abduction.
Not to
I'm
the
sorry.
negative.
Unless you ask them to.
Yeah.
Not to the negative.
Unless you pay for it.
A lot of these people felt that they were actually healed. They were healed. They had surgeries done that actually helped them, and that their blood was tested, and it was like more of a healing process than it was something scary.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Very much about healing.
Have we gone through all of those pictures?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, that laser beam that we saw, is that proper? It's laser beam. What do you think that is?
Well, I was sitting there looking at it, and I saw like a flash of light, and then whenever I got the recording and brightened it up, you can literally see a beam of light.
Yeah.
I think they were just showing off for me.
Okay. Yeah. Let us know what you think.
So is there another stage of communication they're going to get to with you, or is it like this big tease all the time, for lack of a better word? Because eventually you're just like, oh my God, I had this great experience. All right, now we got to start really talking. And do you get to go to another level of communication with them?
Yeah, well, and it took a lot of practice. I've been working on this the past 2 years, and they actually introduced me to like meditation and spirituality.
They did. Has the government ever come up and said, hey, we got to talk?
I was a little afraid in the beginning, but
okay.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
No, that's interesting. You know what? Somebody else wanted me to ask you a question. Elon Musk, right now, at least from a human standpoint, I mean, what he has done in regards to space travel and taking ships up has been unparalleled. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely.
He was asked, and I don't know if you heard this, if he has ever seen any signs of extraterrestrial life, anything of that nature. And you know what he said? No. He said no. And I'm like, okay, now obviously he doesn't have to tell the truth. But if anybody would have seen something now, wouldn't you think Elon would have?
Maybe if his mind's not open to it.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
But I think that's an interesting point, that you've got this guy that's all about space and Mars and life in space, and he says he hasn't seen anything.
Yeah, I found that curious too. There's been another time where he's kind of hinted that there may be. So I think his answer has probably changed, because I've heard different answers from him on that. And also, he's probably not allowed to to say anything.
I was just
Robert
going
from
to say
the
that.
Robert from the chat line says he's extraterrestrial himself.
He does have some weird
You
answers sometimes.
Never.
Who knows?
No. Do you feel like the government is changing their stance on UFOs, UAPs, extraterrestrial? Because it used to be this phenomena we saw. So many people reported on it. The government denied it. Now they're starting to speak a lot of truth about it, whether we accept it or not. But guess what? Now they're starting to call them a national security threat. Now they're starting to shoot them down. Will that potentially change the relationship that some people on Earth have with these beings? Because now all of a sudden we on Earth, we're a threat. How are they going to handle that?
Well, they know they're way more advanced and they're helping us through this. They've evolved past, war and corruption, all of that. Money, oil, they've evolved past that. So I think they're very understanding and compassionate about us. And I don't believe that the government actually shot down any UFOs in that recent. I think that's just it's just to get a rise out of people and to build a narrative.
Is that because we don't have the capability and they're so much more advanced than us?
That makes sense.
Or is that why you don't think we've shot any down?
That's part of it. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And we know the government lies to us. So they could easily say, hey, they're attacking us. We have to start shooting them down. But I think it's interesting what you said about how they've evolved past war and past probably a lot of disease and oil and money. And I've always believed, now this is nothing but my own speculation, is that eventually humans evolve and that's where we end up. And future humans come back to look at all of the crazy stuff we did on Earth and to study us. And that's why they're always over nuclear sites or always over areas of conflict and so on. Now, I don't have any connection with anyone. That's just my speculation.
So you've broken some news today. Because people are always speculating, is this from another galaxy? Is this from the future? Are these future humans? What are they? Where are they? Is it different people coming? Is it like everybody coming from all over the galaxies?
It's a combination of all three of those things. Some beings from the Andromeda galaxy and other galaxies, a lot from right in our Milky Way home. Like the Pleiades star cluster, for example, the Orion constellation, the star Sirius, which if you look in like ancient Egyptian times and ancient culture, they were obsessed with star Sirius.
Yeah.
Yes, they were.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason for it.
So could you ask them for me tonight? Say Eric Johnson from Wentzville has a question for you. Can you say?
Why don't you go out there with her?
That was my next.
Or would they allow Eric? Would they allow Eric?
No, hell no. They would be like, we out. Can you ask him, is Einstein's theory of relativity correct? Do you bend the universe to get to us, or can you literally travel faster than the speed of light? How
That's a good question.
Does a organic being get from there to here? That is like the question I've ever had. Is it, do you use wormholes? Do you use black holes? What do you use to get to Earth?
Portals?
Yes. Portals,
yeah.
Some kind of fast train system. What is it? I don't know. So can you ask them for me?
Yeah, of course.
And then
I know that these
come
are
back and talk about
those are insignificant
we'll
questions.
have Lily back on if she'll come on.
Yeah.
There's
How
no doubt about that.
Some people on the comment line have mentioned Pleiadians, which I've heard of many times in the past.
Say what?
Me too.
Pleiadians. And
Are those people?
Well, they're
beings,
extraterrestrial beings.
I guess it'd be from that star cluster.
Exactly.
Right?
And a lot of people believe that they have existed here on Earth for many years and they live amongst us. I don't know anything about this. Do you think that's true, or do you think that they do not live amongst us?
I think some of them probably do. Yeah, I think some of them do. They've been involved with humanity for a very long time. The Pleiadians are some of our closest.
They're the ones that interacted with the Egyptians, I would imagine.
The Mayans.
Correct?
That's what
the Mayans.
That's what most people believe. I don't know if it's true.
Yeah, and if you look in like ancient Native American prophecy and in their beliefs and in what they've passed down, they know that beings came, their brothers, star brothers and sisters, came from the Pleiades star cluster. And that they are related to them. The Native Americans know this.
Right.
Hey,
it's fascinating.
It is fascinating.
Well, no wonder. I'm a Native
So do you
American.
have...
You are.
So if I go to Alton, Illinois on any given Halloween, I can go to a ghost tours. Will you do that for other people? Will you say, let's go? I'm taking you with me.
People have suggested that on the comment line.
Have you ever thought of not to do it for a business, but to do it exactly the opposite, to do it because people are so interested in it? let's go look at these guys. Do you feel like you would be allowed to walk into a field with 20 other people and say, these are my friends?
As long as people are respectful and open-minded, because it really, they won't just show themselves to you if you just want to, see one just to say that you've seen one. But if you really like in your heart, if you have pure intentions, then they will come.
The energy shows. Lily, to start the show off, I asked you because I found it fascinating, Lily Nova, the name. Mm-hmm. You said the reason that you have Nova is because that's the name. I think you said the galaxy gave you?
Yeah, the universe.
Or the universe. How did that, can you elaborate so I can understand what that means and for our viewers and listeners?
That's a name that came to me whenever all of this started going on. And basically, yeah.
So was it like fed to you through some kind of communication, or did it just kind of pop in your head, or
it popped in? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then there were signs afterwards. So I just went with it. Yeah.
As we wrap up with you, where do you think this is going? Where do you expect it to go? Do you see the contact that you have developing to higher levels right now? The more that you're there, the more you get to interact and see and shoot.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've been working on this for the past couple of years, practicing, and it just gets more mind-blowing, all of the times. And I see a lot more people starting to be able to see these crafts. They're going to start revealing themselves more to others, and they're here to teach us. So there's probably going to be a lot of mix up in the media. A lot of fake news.
Oh, you can't trust the news. Yeah. You can't trust the national media. They will go the opposite way.
Can I ask you one more question? Because I know we're going to be moving on, but it relates to something we're going to be talking about later on. Is I'm going to be talking about two suns. A lot of people that claim they see two suns in the sky, or Planet X. A lot of things that people see. And what I want to ask you about is chemtrails. A lot of people believe that the government is creating these chemtrails to hide what's really up there. And that would be potentially UFO sightings, other, let's say, motherships and different things they're talking about. There's a lot of people who believe that they're trying to hide what's in the sky right before our eyes.
I think that's definitely a part of it. Yeah. And that orb that I showed you also, so you can actually capture UFOs pretty easily by pointing your phone camera to the sun. You'll often see these lights like going in and out of the sun or around the sun.
Like the sunlight one that you had?
Yeah, it's like the sun allows you to be able to see it better. And I think they kind of hide out around the sun. They hang out over there.
And that would make sense if they're attracted to nuclear energy or heat.
It seems like they're trying to communicate you by they're giving you knowledge. Does that feel? It's not like you're communicating through asking questions. It's almost like you're just kind of becoming enlightened, from what I hear. Is that right?
I'd say, yeah, that's a big part of it. They've trained me in really guiding me to my highest potential. They've taught me many, many things. So yeah, I'd say that's
how can people contact you? Do you welcome social media contacts with you? Do you have a website? Do you do things of that nature to try to help and encourage and teach and educate?
Yeah, of course. So my website is lilynovaspaceart.com, and you can I have some of my astrophotography on there, and I also offer sessions. I do healing sessions and workshops to help you connect with these beings also. And then I have YouTube is my main platform, and that is Lily Nova Starseed.
Yeah.
So I go live every Sunday, and we do live sessions. So
wow.
That's been fun.
So do you have a club with some of the other ufologists? Is that the correct word, ufologists? Do you talk to them? Are you is there a group that you guys are kind of intertwined with, or is it you're just on your own?
Oh, originally on my own, but as I started sharing my story, I started meeting other people, and there's actually a good amount of people in St. Louis. I went to conferences is a really great way to meet people. So Journey to Truth podcast, they're also St. Louis natives, and they're throwing another conference this year. So I met a lot of people through that.
Wow. That is awesome. Yeah. I'm super interested. But to me, UFOs are kind of like ghosts. Only other people get to see them.
Your mind just isn't open. Maybe you need to go out to the field over a bush wildlife area and let your mind be open. I'm telling you what, I can't count on two hands the number of people who have told me in the past 2 years that they have seen what they believe to be UFOs over Bush Wildlife Area.
Yeah, but the detractors can also say, yeah, but if you keep an open mind, then you're looking for anything. You'd be like, oh, yep, there it is.
And that's okay, because if you say, oh, there it is, there has to be something that still backs it.
Yeah, I mean, there does.
Because
we try to cover everything here, Lily. That's why we call it Cancel This. We cover everything, but we try to get everybody's perspective to be able to talk.
Yeah.
Have a platform.
Will you go out tonight? Will you go out somewhere tonight and look?
I could probably do that. Yeah. Well,
are you asking to go?
I would love to go out with you. I would, because I don't know what I'm looking for. My guitar player in my band, Mike Hennig.
Yeah.
He sees them all the time.
That's awesome.
He posts about them all the time.
Awesome.
And I'm like, Mike, what is going on? Are they taking you, or is there something we need to know? Are you on your way out of here? What the heck? And it's kind of weird to hear him talk about it.
I'm actually going to be working Guardians of the Galaxy tonight.
That's
well, there you go.
Strangely enough.
There you go.
So I will not be able to go see UFOs tonight.
I don't know which one I'd want to see more.
Tabitha has a movie security company as well on the side.
We do
Anti-piracy
security.
For new listeners that are on the
So I'll be spending my night with aliens.
Yeah.
Lily, before we let you go, anything you want to leave with or remind people, a final word, a final thought about what you do or what people can do to maybe
words of intergalactic wisdom.
Definitely. So, I mean, what's going on right now is very just unprecedented. There's a lot of things changing right now, and it looks really messy right now. But what they've showed me is this is just a part of the process, getting rid of all of the corrupt things that we don't need, and it's part of our evolution. So I would just say, like, hang tight, hang in there, and really, like, look for your own truth. You know, you can look up to the sky or you know, just look up and ask for a sign. And
this is very spiritual. It's very Scientologist sounding.
It's not Scientologist sounding.
Well,
very different things.
Maybe spiritual. I can
very different things. Spiritual, yes. Scientology.
Can you ask them if there's a God?
There is a source, and they say that we're all connected. It's not like what, you know, the mainstream religions would say. It's not like a guy up there. But so what I've discovered is that we are all a piece of God or source.
Are Christians on the right path? Let me ask you that. In your opinion, I mean, they don't, obviously, I don't think that anybody knows the inner workings of heaven and the universe, but are Christians following the right path? Is that a correct path to be following?
I mean, the teachings from Jesus or Yeshua are actually very wonderful teachings.
Right.
I think along the way, with all of the war and bloodshed that's happened and corruption around organized religion, that there's some negative programming there that's been veered off. But if you go back to the core teachings, I believe. I mean, yeah.
Humans can screw things up. Lily Nova, we appreciate you joining us today. Thank you so much. You'll come back on then, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, Eric, if you can help Eric out and get him to a field.
I'll make t-shirts.
All right.
No, I'm kidding.
For the meditation aspect of it, that would be great.
And between now and then, I hope you find out what the goo is that we're all of a sudden we're seeing in the sky. Because there's a lot of photos lately.
Goo?
Well, we can talk about it next Friday. We can talk about it next Friday.
Have you heard about goo?
People
I've never heard about no goo.
Yeah, this is Tabitha.
Someone I even know personally took a photo of it, and a lot of it looks like black strings that are just floating through the sky. Some of it looks like gel. It's the strangest thing. I'll send next Friday. We'll talk.
I think those are burn barrels out by Winghaven.
No.
And Lily, when you can just get up and walk out, and we appreciate. Thank you so
Lily,
much.
we love you. Please be part of our show. George Noory, he's kind of he's a has-been.
Yeah,
you want to
be. We love George.
We love George. I'm just teasing.
No.
I'm teasing.
Bye. Thank you,
Lily.
And we're just gonna go
Lily.
right. You know, we're just gonna go right through. I mean, we won't take a break if that's all right with you guys. Eric, if you want to go get a coffee, you can.
Don't worry about me. I'll make it somehow.
But I don't want to lose what we have going right now. So we'll make the executive decision. I think we should go right into the suns out of the chemtrails because that's something Tabitha was going to inform us about today. Tabitha, I don't see how two massive suns would be there, but I'm open-minded, so let me hear.
And that's what this is about, too. It's about me being open-minded because I have a hard time believing it myself. As a matter of fact, I don't really believe it. But what I do see, though, is a lot of people taking photos and a lot of unexplained things of potentially two suns. I've not seen it for myself. Does that mean it exists? I don't think so. It's been in news reports. I sent producer Joe some photos and a video of the two suns being reported. I believe it was over.
Do you have
China.
a picture of that?
He can take a couple minutes.
So
to find
here, there's no organization to the photos, so I'm going to have to cycle through them.
I thought you were going to say there's no organization to this show.
Sorry, when I got there,
makes it so fun.
I had to upload them into the. Yeah,
That's on purpose.
I'm used to it. That's my life.
And cycling,
that's my life right there.
And there is no order, so cycling through them all is just fine.
Yeah, but he found it.
What are we looking at?
Look at Joe. Of course, he found it.
What you're looking at here, this is a photo online, and now this is just up in the corner. That's just a blow up of these two, what somebody called his sun. Now, there's a video that goes with this particular photo, and this guy was taking a video outside of his home. And he claims the smaller red object, which he claimed as maybe a second sun, he said it had spikes on it and all kinds of different things. And Joe, I don't know if you see the video that goes to this photo or not, or we can come back to that.
That is a reflection.
I don't
it's all on the same email.
Okay, let me check.
Okay.
Okay, it's a lens flare / reflection.
But is it a lens flare? Because if
optical illusion.
when you watch the video, they will show you where the lens flare is, and that object.
Well, where's the video?
Still, well, Joe's going to look for it.
Oh, okay.
I'm out on this one. I'm afraid. First of all, the fit.
And you don't have to agree. That's why we're talking about it.
No, I
is
get
to
you.
Get
I hear you.
everyone's opinion.
And
as you can see, that's Mars up in the corner.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of people who believe, and I included some of these photos, that if you look at Google Sky, that on Google Sky, they have a big black block where you can't see
a big black block, and a big black bear, and a big black bear
on Google Sky.
I did a quick search this morning, and there are. I don't want to say a lot because that it does. You don't know what a lot means. A lot compared to what, but there is a good number of people that believe that there is a second sun. Now,
you know how many people believe the Earth is flat? Go.
A lot of people, and I'm not saying that there is a second sun.
We got flat Earth talk in 2 weeks.
We have anti-flat Earth talk right here.
In 2 weeks on this Friday. On a Friday. Video. Oh, that scared the hell out of me.
That's the aliens.
I'm sorry, it's a commercial.
That's fine. Flat Earth talk in 2 weeks. Next Friday, Tabitha gets proven to her that there were dinosaurs.
I can't wait.
I can't wait.
You won't want to miss that show.
Well, the Bones should have given that away, but what do I know?
Here we go.
Oh my gosh. So back to the second sun.
Yes.
There are a lot of people who believe that there is a planet X. They call it Nibiru.
That's true.
That there is another planet that is in our solar system that we don't talk about.
Because it's so
dark, big, and it's so close. And it's so close to us. Mm-hmm. And then there's a lot of people who believe that planet Nibiru, planet X, is actually this second sun, and that our government is trying to hide it from us. And that I know chemtrails are used for so many different things. You know, it's used for weather manipulation, cloud seeding.
There's no such thing.
So
you say
it's all negative.
It's condensation off of an engine.
As far as what's all negative?
It's condensation off of an engine.
Okay, well, chemtrails do exist. It's not condensation off of an engine.
But that's
a different show, and we're not talking about that right now.
Well, I'm just to let you know.
I don't want to go down the rabbit hole.
The ballast stuff that you see in the back of planes, that is basically testing the airworthiness of airplanes.
Okay, well, you're wrong. And
no, I'm not wrong. Dead on accurate.
Do exist. But think about this. When I was a kid, and when most of us were kids back in the old days, the ancient civilization, and we actually saw the pretty blue sky. Remember when we used to see the sun?
We still do.
And the pretty blue sky.
I've never not seen the blue sky.
And we used to see little fluffy white clouds floating past. Well, now,
all the time.
When you see some moments of a blue sky, the next thing you see is you see chemtrails going past and crisscross patterns taking over the sky. Then the next thing you know, it's all cloudy and you can't ever actually see the beautiful blue sky.
Where's Dave Murray
like we
when I
used
need
to.
him?
When I was a kid, there were no chemtrails. There were no chemtrails. No one went back and forth across the sky and crisscross patterns. And as soon as they make those crisscross patterns, if you can't find the video, Joe, you don't have to play it.
This is fascinating, Tabitha, because as you talk about what you are and Eric says what he says, our comment line just from our live listeners of this podcast, actually the live viewers, it's like 50-50. People are like, yes, there's chemtrails. No, there's not. That's fascinating to me.
Because here's what I do. The only reason I say is because I've seen the back of these ballast planes, and they're test planes, is what they are, and they dump liquid out of the side of one to see that they can fly straight with a lot of weight on one side.
That's not happening 100 times in one afternoon.
Well, it happened
over St. Charles,
but it's the pictures of the actual. It's the pictures of the ballast tanks that you see inside of those planes. That's all I'm saying. And
I'm not talking about those pictures. I'm talking about what we see in the sky.
The
when you look up in
stuff,
the sky and you see all those crisscrosses,
that's a lot of airplanes.
Those are called chemtrails, and it is a lot of airplanes. And as soon as those chemtrails are left in these patterns, the next thing you know, the entire sky.
So all of these airline pilots know that they are dropping chemtrails?
If they're a chemtrail pilot, then yes, of course they do. Of course, you think the government tells you the truth about everything?
I think it's weather that happens around the wing and the engine of an airplane. It is.
You are ridiculous.
It is low pressure versus high pressure versus heat.
Are you going to deny that cloud seeding exists? We know there is cloud seeding.
I'll seed you that.
Well, okay. So Joe, I think he's got the video. So if we don't have the video, we can just look at the other photos.
All right. So what are we seeing again with video?
This is the video that goes to the photo that we were just looking at.
Gotcha.
And this is a man who saw these what he referred to as the two suns outside of his home.
Okay.
That it just all of a sudden appeared one day?
And he came outside and took...
Hey, it's my birthday.
I will let...
And see, there's the lens flare, Eric. You can see the lens
I can totally see it. It's bopping all around.
Yeah, but the two suns are not lens flare.
And the lens flare is exactly the same.
Can we listen to the man?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Let's say, hold on.
There's another lens flare. I just saw another one.
That is
same color as the moon.
That's the side of the house.
But that's not lens flare, what he's looking at.
Vic, I don't know, man.
Because it's not moving.
But the lens flare can be in relationship. It could be actually...
It's not. That part is not moving.
It could be the
why
moon.
would we see that now,
You
Tabitha?
can see the lens flare. Let's hear what he says.
I don't know. That lens flare keeps bopping
He kind
around.
of sounds like Pro Joe.
That's as loud as it goes.
Okay.
No, but he does.
Well, we'd hear him if we'd all stop talking over him.
That's normal.
It looks like the moon to me. Doesn't it look like the moon?
That's the wires. I'm not sure. I think that's Mars right there. That's above the other house. And under the wires. As you can see.
This guy's a hell of a photojournalist.
He's just a guy.
Red one's still up there.
That looks like reflect.
There is no way. There is no way.
I'm fascinated by it.
There is no way you can say, Eric, that these two objects are completely stationary. You can see the lens flare moving.
Reflection.
That is not a reflection.
From the lens.
Reflection. And Joe, you can cut the video off, and we can see the other photos.
So the way that it works is in a camera, there's multiple lenses, including the sensor. And sometimes whatever you shoot at it's not lens flare. It's actually a refraction. Is that the word?
That is not a refraction or a lens flare. He moves the camera around too much.
And it would be in concert, parallel.
Experts out there there are many experts out there, Eric, who are looking through Google Sky, and they're saying, you know what, there shouldn't be anything there in this spot, but there is something there, but we can't see it because there's a big square flat on top of it.
Let's fix it.
And Joe, do you have the photo of the sun over? That one's over Canada. I think there's one over China, but you can leave that up if you can put it up there again. So this was over Canada.
Why don't we ask Bing AI what they are?
Oh yeah, Bing AI. And if you see up in the corner, this one is over northern Michigan. People are seeing this all across the world.
What do you think it is?
I honestly, I don't know. That's why I'm talking about it. I really don't know. I would like to know. I think I'm as curious as the next person.
Personally, I think it's it's just a reflection from the atmosphere. Yes. I think it's not necessarily the camera, but it's bouncing off of the clouds or the moisture in the air or something, and it's causing a mirror.
He is smarter than he looks because he is
out. Does he not look smart? Does he not look smart?
I'm telling you right now, he's right, because that's what those ghost ships are. Remember the ghost ships?
Yeah. It's like on the horizon,
and it's not there. Sea. And it's not there. Sailors for centuries have seen ships on the open waters that are not there. And that is because of a refraction. I can't remember if it's reflection or refraction.
In this case, it would probably be a reflection. A refraction is more like through camera lenses.
Yes.
I guess it could be both.
Yes, exactly. So it's an illusion.
And Pro Joe's a videographer as well. So.
I am.
And he gets it from that standpoint.
And so you got a guy you can ask really right there.
We are asking. We're all
he's an
talking.
expert.
And Joe, you can
if you ask me, it would ruin the show. Let's just
No, it would not.
No, we like it, Joe.
Can we go through the other photos? You don't have to spend a lot of time on the other photos. But
they are interesting looking. It looks like something out of Star Trek. I will give you that.
It does. It to me, it's extremely interesting. Whether it's a reflection or a refraction, honestly, I don't know. But what the theory is, I would like some answers.
Mirage. That's the word I was looking for.
Mirage.
Thank you. It's a mirage.
And maybe it is a mirage. But the theory is that our government is laying out some of these chemtrails to cover whatever is in the sky that they don't want us to see, whether that be motherships or spaceships or
that would
UFOs,
have to be a lot of chemtrails.
A second sun. There are a lot of chemtrails.
Sky.
It could be the chemtrails, the chemicals causing the reflection,
and that could be too.
That's
that could
another
be too.
thought.
And and that's why I don't have an opinion on this subject.
I
just think it's fascinating.
I'm grateful that you took time
and here's
to go through this, Tabitha.
Here's another area of Google Sky.
We use this as part of Tab's take.
And what is this square covering? Why would Google Sky have a square covering? What are they hiding?
Find out.
How do we find out?
Because there are other...
Okay, that's fascinating as well.
There are independent telescopes.
What's up there that they don't want us to see? Is it a UFO? Is it a second sun? Is it Planet X? What is up there that they don't want us to see? That's my biggest question. And the reason why I brought up the second sun is because so many people think that there is something up there they don't want us to see.
Well, Joe just told us
that
Google covers stuff that they don't want us to see on the map, right?
Correct.
They do.
Okay, but
we all can agree with that.
Here's a theory I have. I'm wondering if Google didn't play a trick on Vic and Tabitha and put weird stuff in the South Pole so that you would find
the Antarctic.
Antarctic.
That's going to be
so
a
that
Friday.
You would find it and go,
that's
look.
That's going to be a Paranormal Friday.
Oh yes.
And next month. When you realize why you should care what's going on.
Because I went
in Antarctica.
I went there.
Wait till you see the ice wall. And it's all part of the flat earth, Eric.
If you don't believe if they're putting black boxes on their Google or their telescopes,
there's stuff
why wouldn't they mess with you in other ways?
Eric, there's stuff going on in Antarctica.
There's not.
There definitely is. There are things going on in Antarctica.
That's not.
I've been studying and preparing for when we finally get to Antarctica Day. I cannot wait.
Antarctica Day.
By
the way, we are cancelthisshow.com. We go serious. We go hard Monday through Friday on news headlines, politics, society, cancel culture. On Fridays, if you're new to what we do, it's free for all. Paranormal Conspiracy Theory Friday, and that's kind of where we are today with what we got. Did you have more pictures, Tabitha?
No, I don't. That can kind of conclude my double sun. But I do believe absolutely that the government is hiding something from us in our skies. I don't know what it is. Again, is it the mothership that NASA has mentioned? That the
You're
Pentagon
giving human beings way too much credit. You're giving.
They're clearly covering something.
They're clearly covering something up. But what is
something?
Is it the edge of the flat Earth? I guess
It's like all these people that think Area 51 was like this alien landing zone. Man, this is where we built the SR-22 Blackbird spy
We do know
plane.
that the government hides
Come on,
stuff.
man.
We know that media doesn't tell us the truth. And we know that there are things out there that we don't understand, but they understand us, at least to the point where they know what's going on here.
Yeah. The truth is somewhere in between. There's some weird stuff out there, but it's not as nefarious as a bunch of grays running around in the desert.
It doesn't have to be nefarious.
But you believe in
Doesn't have to be
the,
nefarious.
what are they called? The Plebeians? Palladians?
Palladians. The
plebeian serfs.
Palladians.
I am fascinated. I don't think there's a mathematical chance in hell, personally, that we are the only gray matter floating around in the multiple universes. I'm telling you that right now. Now, how they transport themselves and how much smarter they are than us and how much dumber we are than them, that's the questions I always have a problem with.
I'm telling you, I know
there's a lot of things that need to get squared as far as I'm
there are, and it's changing every day. I kid you not. We can talk about it next Friday on our next crazy day. But I am telling you right now, start going out and looking for the photos of the stuff that's now floating through our atmosphere. It seriously looks like gel or black string. Have you seen it, Joe?
It's called Los Angeles on any given hazy day.
And no one knows what it is.
I'll be looking that up tonight, though.
Yeah, you can find it. A friend of
Joe,
mine.
I'm getting the feeling that you're into this stuff. Are you?
I am, until I disprove it in my own mind.
So is it more fun for you to be, I'm into it, skeptical, I'm going to disprove it, boom, it's disproven?
Well, I mean, if I can disprove it, then that's fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I can keep questions going, that's all the better, because I want to believe in this stuff. I want to believe that there's some weird stuff out there.
Hey,
I feel
Joe,
like
can
I'm
you push
Matlock.
the picture up I just sent you?
I'm the Matlock of paranormal. I'm
Here,
trying
Vic,
to disprove all this.
You're closest to me. And you can see that.
That looks like...
What is that a picture of,
It's a
Tabitha?
picture of the stuff that's been floating that is starting to float through our atmosphere. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I can show it.
Well, go ahead.
No, you'll have to send it to Joe.
Oh,
But
wait
in
a
the
minute.
meantime,
You
Joe's-
can kind of see
I
it.
can kind of see it.
And what that is,
it looks like her
kind of-
phone's dirty.
It does look like that, but it's not. And it kind of looks like a gel, or I don't know. They don't know what it is. And people, a friend of mine, somebody I actually know who was a very normal person and not even into wild stuff, sent me a photo. He was flying, I think, over Utah or somewhere. And he's like, look what I saw out the window of the airplane. And it looked like one of those black smoke rings.
Why
we're
is
starting
it that
to
you
see.
have all the weird drama stories?
Well,
and
it's not that I have
friends
weird drama stories. It's that people are comfortable sharing things with me because they know I'm not judgmental. And so if somebody sees something weird out there, they're going to be like, hey, Tabitha, guess what I saw? Because I'm not going to say you're crazy. That isn't
that makes
anything.
that makes sense. That does. Joe, when you get a chance, can you pop up that picture I sent you?
It's of a format that's not working with.
Oh, damn. Okay,
I'm
that's
sorry.
fine. It's all good. It's all good.
Darn it, Vic.
No, it's been fascinating. It's been a great show.
Man, I'm telling you what. I'm just saying. I want to believe all of this stuff, and Tabitha is dead on accurate about so much stuff, and I
just want to
believe her.
understand it. I just want to understand it. Eric, I don't have any answers to any
Would you
stuff
get
we
the,
talk
would
on
you
Friday.
get the same
I have
rush?
no answers.
Would you get the same rush in your soul if you were able to say, "Oh, I just disproved that. I completely know what's going on."
There is
now."
nothing I've seen yet that I can disprove.
Well, the two suns is a mirage.
I can't disprove that. I
no,
mean,
but you got to.
we don't know that it's a mirage.
It's like last night's draft. They had like, this quarterback has a 98% chance of being drafted number 2 in the draft, and he like went all the way down to 15. It was like, oh my
But
god!
that's something tangible. What's going on in space and in the universe is such a mystery to us. Think about what's going on under the ocean. What's going on under there? Things we have no
Laws
idea
of probability.
Things we have. There are rivers at the bottom of the ocean. I mean, literally
What
rivers.
you call a
with
river
trees.
is not a river.
No, it is a river.
This is a whole nother deal.
We'll talk about
No,
it
because
another
it's when
day.
salt water and fresh water
That's
meet.
not what this is.
It's not.
That's not what this is.
This is under the ocean.
At the very bottom of the ocean, there's a river that has trees with leaves.
The man who Eric,
It is
tree with
true.
leaves?
Eric,
Yes.
the man who
That it has no photosynthesis whatsoever.
Eric, the man who presented the video on this. After he presented the video, guess what happened?
He got suicided.
He got suicided.
Of course.
Well, of
no,
course, that's
actually,
what
his
happened.
helicopter crashed like 2
Maybe
days later.
Maybe we just have different
I'm just telling you,
levels
Yeah.
of atmosphere, and they go further down than we think.
and it is fascinating. But you have to. But but at that point,
I'll send you the photos.
Okay,
later.
go ahead
Eric,
and send me the
And we'll
photos.
talk about it next week.
Now,
And-
I do know that the Chinese discovered Noah's Ark.
Oh my gosh, allegedly. I'm just telling you, Eric, there's a lot that's going on.
There's a lot
all
of things going on
Now,
on our planet that we don't understand or know.
Now, it is a Friday. And before we get out of here, as we talk about paranormal, we talk about UFOs, we have something else that I told you we would bring in at one point in time. And I finally found it. And it's so apropos. Don't worry, Joe. I see the look in your face.
Poor Joe.
You're going to
You
call
got
it
it,
out.
Joe. You got it.
These ads are stressing me out.
That's fine. You know what happens. I had to have time to set it up anyway. We have talked about exorcisms before on this show.
Yes, we have.
And there are teams, because I told you I sat with an exorcist, a guy who performed exorcisms from the Vatican for 2 hours one day, and it blew my freaking mind. Everybody's jaws were on the floor.
Right.
This is Father Vincent Lampert. He has just released this, and it just came out on Fox News too.
So this is new?
Oh yeah, it's brand. Well, he's
terrifies me.
Did you see this?
No, I have not seen
He
it.
explained.
Was appointed. I became one of only 12 stably appointed exorcists in the United States, and then I received my training in Rome. And exorcism really is commanding the demon to manifest itself. In the years that I've done this ministry, I've seen everything from levitation, where the body of the person possessed will actually begin to rise out of the chair that they're sitting in. I've seen people who, once the demon manifests, its body drop to the ground and begin to slither like a snake across the floor. You see eyes rolled in the back of the head, foaming at the mouth, growling and snarling. There can be a change in the temperature of the room, whereby it becomes much colder. Horrible stenches can be in the air. A very deep and authoritative voice. The complexion of the person almost changes, where it becomes kind of more dark, kind of sullied, if you will. And all of these are indications that a demon could be present. I've seen eyes change, where the demon manifested, the eyeballs turned green, and the pupils became slanted like a serpent. But again, all of these things are ways that the demon is trying to say, don't mess with me because I'm more powerful than you. And demons believe that by possessing the body and tormenting it, that indirectly they're tormenting God himself, because the Bible tells us that God created humans in his image and likeness. So an official exorcism would not be permitted to be filmed, and that's to protect the identity of the person who is possessed.
That's bull crap. That needs to change.
Sometimes people will say, well, if they were filmed and they were shown, that would give proof.
Yeah.
But I think we all know that we live in an age where technology can be manipulated. So even if one were to claim that they had a video of an exorcism, it doesn't mean that all doubt will go away. I have not seen it yet, but I'm a member of the International Association of Exorcists. It's a group of 750 priests and their helpers from throughout the world. It was founded by Father Gabriel Amor back in around 1990. And the AIE, as it's called, the International Association of Exorcists, has not given good reviews to the movie. They don't believe that Father Amor is portrayed correctly, and they believe that the focus really is on the devil and it's not on Father Amor and what he tried to do during his ministry of helping people who were possessed. So I'm meeting with her, and she's explaining to me why she believes that she's possessed. And she's crying, and she looks at me and she said, will you help me? I said, well, Jesus is the one who can help you. And as soon as she said that, that's when her eyeballs turned green and her pupils became slanted like a serpent. And the voice came out of her mouth and said, who's he? He has no power over us. And then a week later, I did an exorcism on this person. And when I blessed the person with holy water, the eyeballs turned green again, the pupils are slanted. And that's when the voice says to me, you can't get rid of us. We've been here too long and you're not strong enough. And then that's when I began the official rite of exorcism. And 45 minutes later, the exorcism was completed. So the best way to keep the demonic out is for a person to live out a committed relationship with God.
Yeah.
As Catholics, we would say you go to Mass, you pray, you receive the sacraments, and you read the Bible. Doing these four things, the devil's already on the run.
Yeah.
Again, we don't have to do anything extraordinary to defeat the devil. It is the ordinary aspects of our faith that will always keep the devil at bay. And ultimately, the focus should always be on God. Because even in an exorcism, Jesus is not a bystander, he's the main actor. So it's not what I'm doing as an individual, it's what Christ wants to do in the life of a person. And anytime we turn to Christ, he's always going to accept and welcome us with open arms. And in doing so, we can defeat anything the devil is trying to do to us.
Yep. Beautiful.
I got chills.
I didn't get chills.
That was great.
I didn't get chills.
Yeah, so I was glad that they put that out there, that Fox News put that out there. So when I was going through doing research, I found that it was fascinating that it came out this morning on our free-for-all Paranormal Conspiracy Theory Friday.
Yeah. And the Catholic Church, Vic, I had told you this. I don't think I told anyone else. We're involved with the movie, The Pope Exorcism. It was a movie it kind of went through our realm a couple weeks ago.
Did you like it?
Several weeks. I didn't see it. Someone else on my team did because I was here, so I didn't work it. But I'll tell you what, the Catholic Church wanted to bless 200,000 crosses. Mm-hmm. They were going to bless 200,000 crosses and give them to people who were moviegoers to go and see this movie. And in the end, these were pre-screenings. They did not do it. And the reason why they didn't do it is because there's not 200,000 people that go and attend these pre-screenings. Okay. So they just didn't have the need for it. It would be very hard to distribute them to the different cities, to the different moviegoers. But it was interesting to me that they were going to bless 200,000 crosses and present them to people who were seeing this movie.
And it is a free-for-all Friday, Paranormal Friday, Conspiracy Theory Friday. So that applied, which is why we show you that video as well, because we're talking about UFOs today. And then we start talking about the spirit world and everything else that's out there.
Demon possession.
It does seem like the good and evil, well, first of all, you don't see a bunch of yogis or a bunch of Buddhists doing exorcisms. It seems to be very targeted right to Catholics.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
It's not targeted.
It does seem
no,
that way.
because there are Native Americans.
You don't see the Dalai Lama doing exorcism.
No, there's a lot of religions.
The Dalai Lama is molesting people.
Touche.
Eric, there's a lot of religions who cast out spirits out of the body. They don't necessarily call it an exorcism, but Native Americans did it. There's a lot of different
Christian
folks
faiths
that do it.
All faiths that. Because if you have a faith, you believe that there's good.
So I believe in all. I believe
and Satan will always target Christians.
I'm a Christian, and what our guest Lily said today was dead on accurate. I think that as a Christian, you need to start peeling back the banana and getting to the heart of what Christianity is. She's right. Jesus was a cat that walked through the woods, finding people.
I love it.
He
get struck
was
by
a guy.
lightning when you.
No, I don't mean any disrespect to that. He was a guy. That was the Son of God walking through the woods. And he's, Lizzie, what can I do to help you?
Through the desert, technically.
Well, that's true. What can I do to help you? What can I do to help you? Don't worry about me. What can I do to help you? That was his message. Help thy brother. I'm going to show you miracles so that you believe in me and my Father, the God. Through the eras, she was right. The aliens that she talks, she's right. Man has hijacked these religions and made them work for their communities, for their people, whether it's Catholic, Baptist, Methodist, Pentecostal, whatever it is, Buddha, blah, 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 blah.
There was never meant to be 40,000 different.
They are all under the
faiths.
same principle of help people, be good, follow God, pray, look at yourself inward, don't hurt anybody. And I've never understood how the evil, and we're in this weird situation right now.
And getting weirder every day.
Yeah, where there's this very dark side of our society versus a very quiet, good side of society.
Maybe the demons are winning.
They could be winning right now. Well, and I think that's fair to say.
Well, yeah, if you turn your back on good, guess what's left? Bad.
That's right.
Which is interesting because it promotes the fact that National Prayer Day is coming up next Thursday, May 4th. And the Gateway National Day of Prayer is reminding people that they can.
Yeah, I didn't mean any disrespect by calling Jesus a cat. That's my way of saying
I think people are just teasing
a guy.
We know.
And it is serious because I think that you have to, at this time, you have to be on one side or the other. This gray stuff is going to kill you. That's where you get depressed because you don't really understand where you are in the field. Like a Jay-Z and all these other people doing all this Illuminati crap on camera. That's evil. I'm sorry.
Evil.
Man.
We're going
That's
through
evil.
a period of time, Eric, just like you said, where things are becoming more evil. Things are presenting themselves that we didn't see before. And they no longer care that we know that the evil exists. And whenever they're so out with it and they put it before our eyes, that just leads to more evil. You have to be able to combat that.
Like transitioning kids at the age of 8 to whatever, ripping off their parts with a scapula or what putting that's evil.
That's
and we're in that weird society right now where someone who goes to church going, yeah, it seems like we got to protect these kids a little bit more.
Well, that's where your faith comes in,
right?
Where prayer comes in, and that's where faith comes in. And the Gateway National Prayer Day, it's a group, gatewayndp.net, gatewayndp.net has a list of all the places where there will be public prayer. Next Thursday, it's the National Day of Prayer. It goes on all around the country. It's been around forever. I've hosted many breakfasts.
And Vic is going to host a prayer for us on Thursday.
National Prayer Day is May 4th. It's the 72nd annual observance in our country.
Nice.
We'll pray, then go to Cinco de Mayo the next day.
Yeah, May 4th.
Keep an eye on the White House because usually they have a prayer breakfast.
But they do.
Not with Biden in office.
No, I'm just saying.
They canceled.
Keep an eye on that.
They canceled it last year. No, last year they didn't have it.
By the way, the National Day of Prayer is all about meeting in public places to be one united voice in prayer. And they're asking people to pray fervently in righteousness and avail much. So you can find out all of the places you can literally find out places all across the country, wherever you are. You will have local groups that do that. The one throughout the St. Louis area and the Missouri area is gatewayndp.net.
And it should be every day. It's a shame we have to have a national day of prayer to get people out to pray.
Man, if I had any advice, if my son would actually listen to my advice, or you guys would listen to my advice, I'd say get off your phones, buy Facebook. I hate to say it because that's where we broadcast from, but buy Facebook. I would say get back to nature, go do stuff that's fun, be with your family, teach your kids what's good, let them make their own decisions, but teach your kids what's good, and then move forward and protect yourself from these demonic things that could get you into an exorcism or whatever it is. I mean, I think that we're in this weird part of history right now.
It's a very strange.
There are two teams. I'll tell you right now, there are two teams. And that's very palpable. You can feel it. You are either on the Cardinals, the good side, or you're on the Cubs, the bad side.
You're absolutely right. My 14-year-old said exactly that.
Did you just compare the Cubs to the devil?
The Cubs are.
I didn't say anything of the sort.
The Cubs are the devil.
I didn't say anything of the sort.
Anyway, so my daughter, she said that there is only two ways. And she said, Mom, it just dawned on me. People think that you have lots and lots of choices in this world. She said, but you don't. You have two. You have God's way or Satan's way, and that's it. And you have to choose which one.
Yeah.
It sounds simplistic, but I was kind of blown away.
And you know what? If you're a parent, I know you're a parent. You're a parent. I'm a parent. If you're a parent and you wake up and you go, I'm sending my kid to this school and I am trusting with my tax dollars, you're going to do everything in your power to help me raise this kid. You have a right. I don't understand where this ever came from. Where did the parent not have a right to help develop a curriculum to teach and what to not teach and to counsel when a kid walks into an office and says, I want to change my gender?
When something
fantastic. Let me call your mom and dad real fast. That should have been the first thing out of any counselor's mouth. That's good. I'm glad you do. Let me call your mom and dad real fast because this is their problem, not mine. But no, they take it upon themselves. That's evil.
The government wants to raise your children.
Aaron Bland wins for comment of the day. Chicago is the devil, Bobby Boucher. Love it. Love it, Aaron. I appreciate that. Tabitha, you have no idea what we're talking about.
I don't. I'm guessing
and you're allegedly in the movie industry.
I guess it's a movie quote. That's what I was going to say.
Oh, my God.
Just, man, it's good.
I've seen every movie there is.
Adam Sandler.
If you asked me what movie I saw last week, I couldn't even tell you.
You know what we need? You know what we need?
Do
you guys remember that old commercial back in the 80s? This is your brain. And then they crack the egg and they go, this is your brain on drugs. We should go, this is your brain. This is your brain as a liberal.
Yes. That would be good. I bet inside your head, a conservative looks completely different than a liberal. I think the liberal brain starts to harden.
It wouldn't be a fried egg, though.
What would it be?
I don't want to say.
Okay. It'd be tofu. It would be tofu.
That's Pro Joe, ladies and gentlemen.
It would be a big splat.
Of course I kid. There's a lot of good, God-fearing liberals out there.
Hey,
there absolutely are.
And by the way, coming up on our next show, our next live podcast, which will be Monday, the first day of May, we will have, and you won't miss it. It'll be right off the bat, probably about 8:30. There's a new organization we're getting involved with. It's called the 10-8 Project, and they provide necessary tools and you name it, goods that first responders need. This is going to blow your mind. We have first responders all over the country. This is specifically geared for the Missouri and St. Louis area, where we're going to try to help them raise money to have basic tools, SWAT team goods that they're not getting from their own departments anymore because budgets are so low. We're talking about the whole reimagining policing situation that started to take money away. Defunding that happened. They focus with the police dogs and the needs that the dogs need. Firefighters who are going in first. It's just a fantastic organization. They've only been around. This is starting their second year.
I love it.
But what they're doing for first responders is absolutely amazing. So we're going to have the firefighter. He's going to be in Andy. He'll be in, and don't be dudes like 6'5", 330.
I won't mess with him.
It is so, Vic, this is so much needed.
But the 10-8 Project.
That's great, Vic.
And I'm so happy that we were able to work a partnership out. They want to be associated with us. We want to be associated with them and just help raise. I mean, when you start to talk to these first responders, they're like, yeah, we don't have a lot of the basic tools that we
like
need.
Teachers. Remember when teachers used to get supplied by the school district with pencils and paper and things the kids need? Now all of a sudden teachers have to buy their own supplies. Well, police, it's weird, but police departments are getting to be the same way. Maybe fire departments as well, where if you want these extra things, guess what? You better bring them yourself. It's crazy. We have to step up. And we have to support
Speaking of
our
crime,
first
not to
responders.
leave the son of on this note. Did you guys see yesterday your ex buddy Chris? What's his name from Fox 2? What was
Higgins?
Chris? What's his name?
Hayes.
Chris Hayes.
Oh.
He was doing
He's your buddy.
He was doing a report on Kim Gardner.
That was
right
good.
behind him. There were shots fired of a murder.
Right behind him, and he had to
Did you guys
stop.
see that?
Yes, and he had to stop, and he goes, "Wait a minute." He had explained that while he was trying to explain Kim Gardner not showing up again
At Keener Plaza, right?
At Keener Plaza.
And somebody and that was a crazy story as in itself. That a guy got shot, then got up and tried to run away. Then the killer went over and shot him.
Executed him.
and all he was doing was skateboarding.
Yes,
That's it.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yes.
Is that amazing?
Right,
That's like
right on
movie stuff.
news.
That's not like real, but it was real.
Yeah, our local television station here that Vic used to work on is starting to turn on Kim Gardner. You can tell. You can
It's
feel
not
it.
just
You can
them.
feel it.
It's
Maybe.
the other stations as well, because when you are forced where you can't ignore it anymore.
Yeah.
And besides, a judge, the first contempt of court hearing that it's so just bizarre.
And now there's two.
She had two contempt. Now the first one was thrown out. The second one wasn't. The judge actually set a trial date for it.
He said she was running an udderless ship.
Yeah, an udderless ship. And this is on top of what the attorney general was doing to get into that, not make it all the crime scene. But we're going to be talking about that next week because that will be a story. It's not only a local story throughout the St. Louis metro area. That's a story nationwide because some of those things are happening to see, can an attorney general actually come in and use information to help have a person removed? And now you have St. Louis City judges. And if anybody cares about the color of their skin, African-American judges saying that African-American prosecutors aren't doing their job.
I think there needs to be a law introduced. Somebody give me Nick Shore's phone number. I'm going to call him right now. The governor, if that'd even be better. I think we have to have benchmarks, matrix for any job that you want to apply to in the state of Missouri. You have to test for the job. If you want to be dog catcher, you better know what a Rottweiler looks like as opposed to a Chihuahua. I think that if you want to, it's bizarre to me that I could actually run for mayor of anything because I don't feel like I got the qualifications to that. But if I studied and I tested out and I answered to somebody, it's like, here's the matrix. Here's the you have to get all of these things accomplished one way or another. No ideology. I think we need those laws.
Well, it's a situation we're going to continue to talk about. We appreciate everybody joining us for this episode, day 109 of cancelthisshow.com. Have an awesome weekend, everybody, and thank you for making the show what it is. Please check out cancelthisshow.com. If you know of other advertisers from a national standpoint that would want to be involved, let us know, or local. And if you want to make a donation, we appreciate the people who are doing that. Cancelthisshow.com for Projo, Lizzie Sparks, Eric Johnson, Tab of the Hassle, I'm Vic Faust. Hey, PRL back in action?
Yes, it'll be my girlfriend's Christy's birthday party tomorrow night at Ellen's.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is
Happy
just
birthday,
our
Happy birthday, Christy.
It's just our excuse to go even above that, what we usually go.
Is that an
Perfect.
invite, or is that just saying that that's where you're going to be?
That's an invite.
Okay.
Don't steal all the cake.
If that's an invite, then I'll be there because I like her.
Well,
She's
there's
great.
a party bus leaving this venue at like 7 o'clock tomorrow sometime.
All right. Maybe I'll do that.
You should just jump on that bus.
I will. I'm heading to Indianapolis tonight, so I'll be back in time.
For what?
Son's got a lacrosse game in Indianapolis.
Lacrosse, okay.
At night. I know.
That's a bruising game.
It is a bruising game. All right, guys. Thank you again. Have an awesome day.